All right, thank you so much, guys. There is now 2 hours left in the trading day, in the trading session. Welcome to the extended close. It's been a long time in the making, but you're now getting us all day long. I hope that is a positive for everyone watching. Let's get a look at where things stand in the overall market at this point. Hi, guys. Here comes the market board. We'll talk a little bit about how the day has been. We'll show you some trade opportunities. We'll talk a little bit about some opportunities to come. We are positive it has been a little bit of a muted session overall. S&P 500 0.12, the Dow 0.12, the NASDAQ about flat as well. You can see here in Toronto 0.4 for the TSX, all-time highs at the bottom of that board. Ethereum having quite the day. Bitcoin as well, 8% now, getting back up to all-time highs as well. Let's keep the ball rolling. Here we go. I'll look at the S&P 500 currently. It's all about infrastructure, really. I mean, we learned over the weekend that the $1 trillion Biden infrastructure plan has been approved and is going to show up on Biden's desk for a signature, and it will become law. So anything and everything infrastructure spending wise to the upside today. And I'm talking resource stocks, I'm talking EV, I'm talking charging station stocks. There's so many of them now. We'll get into a few of them here, but if we can jump back into that, guys, we'll touch on a couple of things here. I want to mention CF, the materials group, having quite the day, 5.4%. FCX, 5.25% to the upside. And there's Newmont as well, 3% in positive territory. So that entire group has been heavily discussed on this show in one way or the other over the past days, weeks, and months. Utilities up here as well to the downside, offsetting. Over in the industrials group, Caterpillar, 3.6% move. That was as high as 5% at one point today. So having quite the day. Power is here, PH. There's Deere as well. That was up more than 2.5%, back a little bit at 1.64. And we haven't even gotten to the chip makers yet because, wow, AMD dragging the entire group along with it, 11.5% to the upside for AMD. After the Meta news that came out about midday today. We'll have a look at AMD before we get to the guys coming up here. NVIDIA as well. There's Xilinx. They're all here having quite the day. Anyways, I wanted to jump over quickly and just have a look at the NASDAQ. So this is not something that we typically look at during the morning show, but this is the NASDAQ broken down into sectors as well. You can see Peloton standing out in the middle in the consumer discretionary group, 7.8%. Yeah, cannot find a bid whatsoever for Peloton. There's Tesla as well. That was down 5% in the pre-market, now 2.8%. eBay not having a great day. Moderna offsetting the rest of the healthcare group. But there it is, the big one today, 11.25% to the upside for AMD, Xilinx, as we said, NVIDIA there as well. Crowd, I just saw CRWD having a pretty good day. As we said, though, it's all about infrastructure stocks, and a lot of those are clean energy heading into the last couple hours of trading here today. CBAT has been on the move all afternoon long, just popping up again today on, or right now, I should say, on volume. So heads up on CBAT, guys, just moving around. PPSI as well, having just a crazy afternoon. It's been halted a couple of times. Remember, that is charging station related. So we'll talk about PPSI. Before we go any further, though, let's do a little review because some of this time that we have to spend together now between 2 o'clock and the close, we're going to not only provide some educational content, we're going to provide some review, guys, because as traders, we all know how important it is to understand what we did well and what we did not do well during the session. Therefore, we can improve upon that the next day. So we're going to go over to the TV. Here comes Neil.
Welcome, guys. Here comes your trade of the day tier, and it's going to be lucid today. Monster moves all of last week. And really, what was great about this one is it gave you a lot of different opportunities. But I want to talk about why we stayed away from a certain trade and how we took advantage of an even dollar break. You look at last week's action. We like to go to the higher time frame. We got that 15-minute chart up. You had this consolidation about this 36 area into 38 for a break, and then taking out that vaunted $40 level on Lucid. Multiple failed breaks previously on the higher time frame at that price. Now you look at when that break happens, you got 10% bottom to top of this range, and I'm starting to think the same thing once it breaks out. I'm putting 45 even into my head instead of what at the time would have been a high break at about 44.20 pre-market highs. I didn't love that break because I was looking for 45 as an even break, thinking you could have a bit of a reversal. So I went ahead and waited patiently for the 45 even break. If you did take this original break here at 42, it kind of goes up, rejects at 45, comes right back down and puts you to the test on a 1-to-1. I didn't want it. I actually ended up just scalping a short trade, anticipating that if it stalled shy of 45, that would be trapping people in the original long. You then patiently allow it to get right back into the upside, and then there comes your clean 45 even dollar break. Gives you the scalp into the 50s, all the way into 46.5. I do reload when it retests the first time through at 45 even, thinking we can continue that push. Want to give yourself an opportunity to hang on to that trade, take a little bit more. Maybe if it's going to make a move in the afternoon, you can hold that core position, but it doesn't hold that 45 on the way back in, puts in a higher low, and then we just get out of it. Now the key thing about this here is anticipating how you want to structure the trade. Are you doing a dip buy? Are you buying off a support? Or are you buying a breakout? Because of the nature of the breakouts in last week's action, I favored the breaks, I favored the even dollars, and that allowed me to take two trades in one. You could actually get in that short at the open, allow the time to come through and the trade to break at 45, and then you're getting a bit of a 2-for-1 action, all off of the same price level. So it's all about how you can do better as a trader. For me, this is catching the long and the short. Always, guys, let us know in the comments. I'd love to see how you traded Lucid today. Did you get a better price? Did you go long? Did you go short? Always all about that, guys, and it's fun to do this for you guys live. So check out Trades of the Day every single day, our morning show. You know it's been a fire, and we're going to kick it all the way, all day long, guys. See you in the markets.
All right, let's continue along with more review, guys. We'll jump back into what we talked about this morning, have a look at some of the opportunities that were on the watch list this week, brought to you by MarketScreener.com. Check out Market Screener. Lots of great content there, specifically on European markets. So if you are located in Europe or like to look at those markets, a great resource for you. You can also use the QR code there to pick up the watch list. Guys, let's talk Tesla. First off, if you missed it, on the weekend, Elon Musk put out this Twitter poll asking if you should sell a 10% stake of his holdings, to which there was a resounding yes. I think I just checked, actually. It's still around 57% on the yes side, approaching 3.6 million votes. So Tesla ends up being a decent opportunity out of the gate here. 3.2% still in negative territory. It is coming back down into some midday support levels here that we had 1180, 1181 on the initial pullback here. We touched off a couple of times, but gave you this pivot. So if we just go in here real quick and draw some lines, 1150, you can also see 1180 to the upside. So, I mean, inside of a pre-market range, ends up holding the bottom right out of the gate. We get a hold of that resistance point from early on in the pre-market, and then it's nothing but upside. So 1170 through the top, even if you took that 1180 up to 1195 and change, gave you a great opportunity for Tesla. So an interesting look on Tesla, guys. Lucid also in just an amazing run up today, back to levels we saw not only back on Friday, but and then some. So I mean, this infrastructure spending bill, obviously a huge deal for all of these. QS, another one, QuantumScape, huge. I mean, thoughts on the EV group here?
Oh man, like we were saying, I mean, Luce is going to be the trade of the day, but it could easily have been a test along for Sean. There were opportunities. Quantscape was all kinds of opportunities, and I mean, looking at Fuel Cell, I'm looking at Plug was strong this week. The lithium names have been absolutely on fire. Lithium America is a name that we barely even talk about. That got to $45 here in Toronto because it is dual listed. So it's just all kinds of opportunities. But man, if there was one that maybe missed out because we're so focused on the EVs, I gotta briefly mention here the trade desk, just because it's now up 30%. So we're still going to talk about what's moving, and the trade desk, even though I covered my long here at 88.50, still has a chance to get to this 90, that 90 level looming large here. So it could be a 90 break. I still like the resistance at that price, and I'm thinking short first. But wow, there's a wealth of opportunity in this market today. We're talking a little bit about it being Rivian week, and the entire clean energy space said, hold my beer today, is what it feels like there, Sean.
Yeah, there's Rivian. What's Rivian? Yeah, the trade desk today, obviously a big move. We are able to get long as well. A nice little mover there as well. Welcome to the 2 p.m. show. Now, the best and the fastest 120 minutes on YouTube. FSO, we went long here early. We talked about this on the morning show. I haven't done anything since then, and we're just waiting. I mean, we're waiting for the top. It's already up 22%. We're long 950, and we are still long 950. Peloton was a fun one today, man. Like, we were long, short. We're not going to be positive on this. Well, depending, I don't think so. But, you know, took a long into here, got out on a 50 break, then took a short, got out, then punched a long again, and we're stuck long right now, but our best out, 51.20 off of this 50 break. So we're able to make a little bit back there. I think Peloton's still some action right here. There's a slew of earnings, man. I mean, if that's, you know, the one thing that we're going to talk about. I did take out some Coinbase. Oh, good out for me today at 360 there. We put that up there. This is not in my long-term account. I don't hold any Coinbase in the long-term portfolio, but we did hold it through all of this. So when we were able to come back here, complete the U, we took a little bit out there at 360, which is literally right there. Next stop. I mean, I took out about 50, I think it was like 18% if I do the math correctly. I meant to be between 15 and 20, so pretty good there. We take some out of our Coinbase today on that move to the upside. That's a good one. And then we just started a new position, and someone said that, hey, Sean, you know, you mentioned not starting positions on earnings, right? And again, right. Thank you for listening. I agree, Christopher. I believe it was you, Christopher Holcomb, there, who asked me about that. And I just said, look, it's a starter position in Roblox. This is not something where, you know, we're putting a lot of cash in. We actually got some more out of AMD as well at 150 today. We'll talk about that. It's just a new starter position. We don't want to put a bunch of money into this right now in case something does come of earnings. I want to find out what happened with that freeze up they had the other day on their account, on their website. I think it was almost 2 or 3 days there. So I want to hear more about that. But if you can, you know, this is not a horrible spot. I mean, it goes back into this cluster down there. Sure, can we have a possibility to dip to 70? Of course. And we will lose that 10% if it comes back to the downside. But it doesn't matter. I'm in this for the long term. And I think the worst case scenario tomorrow is hopefully worst case. We'll see. We could have a Peloton on our hands. I don't think so. But a 60 to 62, something like that. And then we can really start to push around some chips. So, you know, I'm starting a Roblox position. We're going to talk about the metaverse coming up soon as well. So look, I really, really enjoy all of these names. We put some money to work in Facebook. We put some money to work in AMD and NVIDIA. We've already been there. We're already long on Microsoft. My largest holding is Google. So we're going to add Roblox to the portfolio. And
one that is running today, you'll see it, we have positions on live trading as always. Nothing has changed in that regard. I've been in this AMD for a while here. Now, this is essentially a double top. I was thinking when it broke up, first I played 150, reversed into a long, so short 150, small win, and then second time through we take a loss as it breaks, we reverse into the long, make some of it back, and now I'm shorting off the lower high. I was able to get 153 essentially, scalp some out, and I've been trying to get it, you know, maybe closer into VWAP here, but it is making another run at the high. I just took that trade desk position as well, short. I mean, it was a good long, great long this morning, but you know, trade desk, that 90 on the daily, certainly a big level. So a couple of shorts, and of course we're going to be watching that PPSI, baby. That's a big time mover here. I was just in a nice rollover short, got stopped out essentially at break even here around that 1025. I don't think this thing is done by any stretch of the imagination. Is that Brennan?
All right, it's a pet kind of afternoon once again. It seems like this PETZ, a few people talking about, always pops up along with DOGZ. So pets and dogs and all kinds of crazy things running this afternoon. Here's PETZ just real quickly. 19.6 million free float on that, guys. So just tread lightly, but huge volume on that one again today. We're going to talk about these Chinese stocks because there was monster news. Yeah, the meme stocks are having a day. I wanted to highlight this IPO calendar because they were talking about Rivian there a little bit, but the size of this is notable, at least 11.5 billion, essentially, which is the notional value, obviously, of the IPO itself. So just taking the expected range, multiplying it by the amount of shares. So we'll get Rivian. That's coming up on Wednesday. Tomorrow, however, Hertz was on here. Why do I not see it now? I swear it was on here. Oh, there it is, right at the bottom. 11. Tomorrow we'll get Hertz making its. I like how they phrased it. The re-IPO of Hertz coming back from the OTC market after the bankruptcy, obviously. So tomorrow, Hertz will get Rivian coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We are going to talk a little bit about meta stocks, guys, because we have to kind of prepare ourselves for the transition into the metaverse, if you will. We'll have a little discussion on what we should be buying immediately and maybe what we should be buying a little bit later down the road. But here's a couple to think about before we get too far into things here. Roblox, number 1. Amazon, number 2. Microsoft, number 3. We're going to give you the reasons why for a few of these. We're going to give you 5, in fact. So hang out, stick around, because we'll give you the rest of them coming up here. But let's jump into Microsoft, guys, right out of the bat. Why Microsoft and why the metaverse?
All right. Well, Microsoft, look, we love Microsoft for many reasons. Obviously, there's going to be a big cloud infrastructure play here with Azure coming out with a monster move. You could see the daily here on Microsoft, just nothing but love to the upside and continues to go. Look, the more and more use of the cloud. Azure's picked up huge amounts of market share in this space. It continues to work. They have Xbox, which is going to be something as well for the metaverse, right? People playing games. We will touch on Roblox as well. But this is the thing, man. I mean, you know, the big just keep on getting bigger. And I think that when you talk about Facebook changing their name over to Meta, you're going to have Microsoft possibly, they're never going to change their name, but they have a lot of aspects in here, right? We talked about Xbox right there. We talked about cloud computing. What about just computing, period, right? A lot of people going to be flocking towards, and I'm just going to show the daily chart because really that's what we're talking about, is holding this thing for as long as we possibly can. Look, buying hardware. And I know Microsoft, you say, well, it's not really hardware, right? But guess what? Windows is still a big part of a lot of the PCs right now. I haven't heard much about MacBook. I haven't heard much about other operating systems. So I'm going to hold out that Microsoft continues to work in this metaverse that apparently we're heading towards. So the more computing power is necessary, the more we're going to need to upgrade our current, processors, which leads us to another one of our picks. But look, Microsoft's going to continue to be one of those strong names. I think you stay here and you watch your money grow because Microsoft, a strong blue chip name for the metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, sticking with that sort of theme, let's go to something you might not have thought about as well, Amazon, because one of the things people are going to talk about for Facebook, of course, will be the marketplace. It's that online shopping mall experience where you're immersed into it. Well, guess who else is going to be able to do something along those lines and is an obvious place to go for that? It's going to be Amazon. And the best thing about this with Amazon is you're getting at a point where it is barcoding and doing not a heck of a lot in terms of stock. You're getting it at pretty much a value. Get ahead of it here. It has not broken out with the rest of the FANG names. I guess I can't even call them FANG anymore, but it has not broken out with the rest of them. And the other thing you think about when there's a seed change and a technology change and when we're going to get Internet 2.0, whatever you might want to call it, infrastructure, the foundation, that's what you want to be involved with. And Amazon Web Services is going to be part of that foundation. They're one of the biggest players when it comes to that in the cloud space. So you've got to understand that Amazon gives you both that exciting online marketplace and also that foundation. So there's another one for you, Amazon.
All right, AMD, guys, we have to mention AMD obviously popping up today as Meta themselves, choosing AMD for their chips. So, Sean, you've been discussing AMD for whatever, seems to be the length of this show to the upside. Here is yet another positive catalyst for AMD.
I mean, it goes back to Neil, you know, we just talked about AWS and Azure as well. So now we're going to go over to, you know, the hardware. And I mean, if you're going to be part of the metaverse, you know, you're going to need to be able to display said graphics. And then not only that, but what else is going to be involved in the metaverse here, right? We're just talking about computing power and things like that. Wait until AMD, you know, you start talking about putting chips, which already exists in like Samsung, like I was in Best Buy the other day, Samsung fridges, you know, you can connect your smartphone to these guys and literally look inside of your fridge as you are at said grocery store. So there's lots of things happening here. You hear Meta today, of course, Facebook, and I mean, a big bump. I mean, look at the chart. A big bump up today for AMD because, hey, a lot of these companies are going to have to use these chips, right? Whether or not it be AMD or NVIDIA. I like best to breed with NVIDIA as well. So I just think you got to be diversified into all of these spots. And then here's the big bump up right here. Boom, just took off midday today. I mean, not even midday, even earlier than that, about 11, almost right when we went off air here, making new all-time highs to 153. What a great mover this has been. Since October, you're up 50%. This is $100, guys, a month ago. So you basically have 20 straight trading days and you've made 50% return on your money. Is it probably overheated right now? Yes. But all the talk, that's why we're doing this video, is on the metaverse. So hey, if you want to get some plays here, I believe AMD can be bought. Why not start a small starting position on all of these names, right? But remember, you're coming into right now tax season, realizing some of those gains or not. So you could get a pullback in some of these names.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with one right here, and it's going to be very simple. Because most people, when you hear metaverse, the first thing you think about is Ready Player One. And that's, of course, the movie, the book, fantastic book, but the movie, and immersing oneself in a gaming environment. That's where Roblox comes from, and that's where Unity software it comes into play here. Because, you know, when you talk about them having one of the biggest, or if not one of the two biggest 3D gaming platforms out there, again, it's about that infrastructure. So when you consider the shift into the metaverse, into gaming, you know you want to lay that foundation. Of course, Unity software has to be part of it. The best part is, you know, you got to think about that earnings coming in this week and getting close to some all-time highs. Already a bit of a breakout happening here today as we tape this through 155. I mean, up to 160, it's already gone. It's already a pretty big break, but we still have yet to test its highs from last year in December. So still some room to run here in Unity. And I love that theme about getting in, laying that groundwork and 3D software and interaction with games. That's where it's at for the metaverse. For most people, that's the first thing they think about is that whole Ready Player One experience. Great movie.
Pretty amazing charts on all of these if you look them up ever since this announcement kind of came down the chain. Just to sum things up, guys, Roblox, Unity, NVIDIA, Amazon, Microsoft, and today we get AMD. So a pretty star-studded list there when it comes to stocks you need to have now when it comes to the metaverse. Let's continue along with a look at what is happening, some opportunities still to come possibly before the end of the day. I'm just kind of sitting here staring at some of these infrastructure stocks in awe, really. I mean, the CBAK Energy, like 48% on the day. It's a clean energy stock. The trade desk we talked about, that's earnings, obviously. Blink Charging, I mean, we can pull up Blink Charging real quick and have a look at, I mean, any of these charging station type stocks all look like this today. I mean, I'll flip over to this chart so it's a little easier to see, but 25% for Blink, back to 39 here. If you zoom out on a daily time frame, yeah, we're right back to, very significant levels for Blink. CHPT, another one. I mean, the volume is pretty impressive at, here we are almost 2:30 in the afternoon for a Blink. FCell we talked about, QuantumScape we talked about, AMD we talked about, AMC, another one that's having a pretty impressive day today, 6% back into positive territory. Earnings to come tonight for AMC. It is about 225-ish, so I want to check in with the guys and just get a little bit of a feel here for what is to come before we get to 4 o'clock this afternoon. What we are trading right now, which if you're new, guys, to our stream, if you're new to this channel, the positions are here and here. So you can always see exactly what Neil and Sean are trading. So FCell, that is P&L now. But guys, let's get a rundown here of what's going on right now and what we expect to happen before 4 o'clock.
So I just hit the AMC there. We're starting a new position. What's up, apes? Hopefully we can be part of Ape Nation together here today. As AMC up that 6%, we've been talking about it all morning. It's on our sticky note today as well for AMC, or no, it's not. AMD is, and so is Palantir. We can get to both of those names. But AMC right here, man, a beautiful bottom, making those bottoms here. Hopefully we can buy that. Well, we just did buy it. Hopefully it's going to be a good buy on that VWAP dip into this level. So 43.50, 43.60. We'll see if we can hold it. Obviously, we just took that bid right there at 44 flat, looking to get something out if we can up here, but our average price right now 44.35, with Eternals putting together a pretty good number there. I just saw Disney Marvel Studios Eternals opens with 161.7 worldwide. No idea if that's good or not, but seems to have sparked a little bit of a move up here. That was about 10 minutes ago, so I guess it actually started there, and then now we get a little bit of a bounce. So I do like that number for them. We can check out some Disney. Did that move Disney at all? One second, nah, not really. I actually remember this morning when Disney was at 178, and I was like, we might need to ring the register and put some of this in our pocket, but we don't do that there. So we'll hold on to some Disney now. We don't have a choice, but I think AMC can get, well, we have a choice.
You always have a choice.
We always have a choice. There's no point right now, in my opinion. I don't know any better names other than Disney as far as like just putting your money into something that isn't going to go too far too fast. Yeah. But AMC right here, I still like this break to the upside. I think we can take this out. There's a few new things about Disney today. What was it? 200 old Disney movies going to be played in some AMC theaters this week, so that could do a bump as well. I just, I like it today. You got to trade things that are moving, especially here into the close as AMC right there now 10 cents in the money. It's not a big one, but hey, we've averaged in. Let's let AMC continue to go to the top side. We get something out here, 44.60. I'll like it, but I'm looking at that. And then again, I'll just review this quickly because I know Neil wants to do some review as well. I picked F-Cell today in this space, right? And why did I do that? Well, again, it's the number 3 name on the sticky note today. And it's just because in the pre-market, we were bumping up against this 950, right? And then I just noticed that like, if we can break through 950, then the next little area is 975. So that's good, but that's not a huge return, right? But we had the momentum today. So we really thought that this could happen, honestly, up to the 200 period. We talked about that. So that's giving me $1 worth. So if you look over here at the 1 minute chart, that's exactly what we did. We take the 950. Anybody could have had it. It actually went down to 945 off open. There's us taking it out at $10 like we thought. And now we hold the last third for hopefully what is going to be another moonshot. But we've already sort of touched the moon right here. Let's just see what happens. If we do break below this level, 1075, we'll be out of this. So we're not too far from getting out of F-Cell, but hey, man, a great little runner to the upside here. I'm really happy with the performance on this name today.
Oh, and you got to be kidding me. So anyways, PPSI, we'll get to this one in a quick second. I just got the 1175 long on this break of the high, and then it rejects 12 even. So I definitely got greedy with this, thinking it was going to go, into a halt. Took that break, anticipating hold it through. It's going to halt one more time, and then you're going to see it reject. Look at that wick on a 12 even fail break. Now, the reason I'm going to get out and take the hit is because that is an absolute rejection of an even dollar break. It's halted multiple times here today. Before we came on, I actually had this at on the reopen at 1 o'clock or just after 1 for scalp long, then took the halt trade, was able to win on it, lost on the short, and then this is the long that's going to kick me in the butt. Forget about the one we just had. I had the long here on 9 even break. I did not hang on to it. For whatever reason, I was doing that count in my head. Yeah, can't go. I'm thinking about it short because I was just short it before. That's where it stalled out here on the reopen. And then you saw it go gangbusters. So left like $3 on the table with that trade. I'm in that AMD. I already went over that. I think someone was asking me for some comments on the trade desk. Again, it was a good long here today. I was really looking for the consolidation break. I didn't have any dip buys that I loved. Probably should have been buying at 80, wasn't, just waited for it to make a bottom and then just took the pre-market high break, and then we rode that to 87.5, and then when it failed at 90, that's when I decided to get out at that lower high, and at that point $90 was always going to be the level for me. When we got to zoom in because of course trade desk with that reverse 10-to-1 split. This is that high at 90 that it put in since then. That was back in August, so it was always going to be a top target at $90, and once it got up there, this is like 89.70 or so. It's that lower high consolidation where I'm going to be shorting it. I could take a leg out here at 88.77. Now I'm really sitting more around this 88.20 mark, right in these clusters, and then looking for a push all the way down into VWAP. Will I get it? I don't know. If I get a chance to get more shares and another failed move up to 90, then I'll likely get a bit more aggressive in where we take this out. The best part about coming on a little bit earlier is, guess what? We get to make some trades that we can hold on to a little bit better. When you're initiating position, you'll see us initiate positions at 315, 320 before. A lot of times we're scalping it a heck of a lot more than we would be because it's that end of the day. Now you get to see when we do take trades at 2 to 230, you still get a chance to hang on to them a little bit longer. More time for some of these to run. And speaking of run, let PPSI, if it was a failed break, I think it could set itself up for a short. It gets back down below 11, and you could have a bit of a breakdown on this stock. So I'm kind of geared up, willing to play it in either direction here. It was free locates on PPSI despite the small float, so that was a bit of a shock. I think that's why sometimes you get a lot of heavy day trading to the short side, and it exacerbates some of these moves up because every day trader thinks they can catch the top.
Yeah, pretty impressive reversal there for PPSI off of some infrastructure spending. Obviously, they came out, if you missed it, guys, for PPSI saying they have now a charging station type product. So it's already 2:30, and we haven't even talked about DWAC yet, guys, because this is another one that made a huge move about lunchtime, just before lunchtime, 57.5, all the way to 62.5 on this headline. Yeah, former President Trump said to speak at a Republican dinner tonight. There's no indication in this article, thanks to our friends at Seeking Alpha for that. There's no indication in this article whether or not, he's set to talk about this deal. Obviously, he will most likely talk about this deal. But just popping back up here again, guys, for Digital World Acquisition Corporation.
Yeah, and look, when the P&L rolls, you'll see I did make a trade on this, and it had everything to do with it's a news spike, and I'll tell you this, guys, every single time, like if I'm not getting the break, because like this broke out at 57.50 when the news hit, it was still churning through volume. I'll zoom back in so you can see better. It was still churning through volume when it took out the pre-market high here at 58.60. So that was a couple of minutes later. That's 2 successive breaks that were missed opportunities. And then I simply looked, okay, let it make a top. It made a top at 62.50. I wasn't sitting there trying to pick the top. I was letting it make a top. It bounced back in. And when it retested the high, simple, short, give it to the high of the day. Right? Like I ended up getting short here at 62.25, give those 25 cents, and then it pulls back. So again, not knowing when or how long or what's going to get said here, this was simply playing the news, and it's made a bit of a base. It's testing back up, but now you can print 62.50 for a potential breakout on DWAC. The best part about that, for those of you that are bullish on it, is that was really nothing significant here. When I go to the 15-minute chart, I mean, there's room to 65, which would be a more obvious top here. So 62.50 can definitely give you a break on DWAC. I don't think it's necessarily done yet. Just keep in mind, whenever you trade that snap news, you don't have to chase it. If you miss out on the initial 1 or 2 pushes, you can think about reversals along that line, allow it to come back in, consolidate. That would have given you, look where the consolidation was. It's right back at that breakout price from pre-market highs. It gives you the consolidation at 58. So sometimes patience can be a bit of a virtue. DWAC was an example of that today.
Yeah, so we're $1. Thanks for the note there, guys. I see that we are $1 in the money, $1.50, sorry, in the money now on FSEL as that continues its march to highs. Like I said, I just plan on getting out here if it does break. So if that breaks, we'll get out 10.75. Other than that, I'm just going to let this continue to march to the high side. But look what's happening right now. We'll go ba, ba, ba. Bang. You guys wanted a winner there. I saw in the chat, Sean, give us a winner. Give us a winner. Well, I put on one trade for you here since we've started the show. This started at 215. We took the first long at 44.50 right here for AMC. Then we averaged in down here at 44.10 or so. And now you're up to 71. So if you wanted a winner, here it is right there. There's a banger for you. Hopefully it continues to make a move to the top side right now. Look, Clover tonight, man. I mean, this is one that I'm pretty excited for numerous reasons. I've been buying. I'm now in the money on Clover, even before earnings, as I have an eyelash inset eye here. But you could see this. It was basically, and this is how we get lucky. Like I was long, this is an absolute true story. Like I was long $2 AMC calls before all this AMC stuff even started. And the reason why was because of this. It was barcoding. And you guys can go back, double check, man, if you're just into this game right now. AMC was just barcoding, just like this, down near $2. It couldn't break it, did a little bit, bounced around, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what? for the upside that happens to be in AMC. Of course, reading a little bit, we bought those calls, and then the rest is history. So we did have that play on, and I don't have calls on Clover. I did. They expired worthless. So there you go. Talk about our winners. Talk about our losers. But I think Clover has a great chance to go today. We'll see what happens. I think we could take this out, this $11. We'll see. I think attitudes are changing now, and not just attitudes, but the way that healthcare is being distributed there in the United States. Them and Teladoc. We just recently made a purchase on for Teladoc at 136 as well. This might blow up. I have no idea what it's trading at right now. 146, so it was even higher last week. Teladoc coming back in here a little bit. So, look, I like the space, and I think there's a play there for Clover at some point, man. Yeah, Chris, there is a reason for QS. Thank you for the $2. EV space. They have, so QS does, and again, we dropped some of this. We were long QS, and we never got back in, but this is QuantumScape, and they have the solid state batteries. So whether or not, we'll wait for Brendan to figure if there's any specific news here, but they've been signing some deals up with Volkswagen and whatnot, a few other private deals that I don't think they've mentioned names, but QS definitely today with a big bump. I mean, what a great bottom that was as well. Not similar to Clover because you didn't barcode for as long as Clover's been doing it, but you did have a great opportunity here, sub 22, 23, whereby if you went long, your out would have been 18, 19, well worth the risk right there to the upside. But there goes Peloton, man. We're still in the money on this one. Same type of thing, a big move to the downside here on Peloton. We zoom this back out, and we notice that there's some love here around this 50 area. So, I mean, that's more around 60, but down here is 49.50. So we're noticing a little bit of love here. So we do go long on Peloton. This is 75 cents in the money.
Yeah, and I see Newegg, guys, going absolutely gangbusters here. Up now. It got to $15, just pulled back into 14.30. I just checked. We don't have any locates here, so not easy to borrow for us, and can't even pay for the shorts on Newegg, but it is an absolute runner just in the last couple of minutes here, Brennan.
Yeah, a lot of the low floaters starting to pop up here. Newegg, one of those 1.2 on the day. So there's no real significant reason, just a low float stock. On QS, worth noting, guys, they did, I mean, the infrastructure portion of this bill is $175 billion going specifically to EV infrastructure and EV related spending. So, I mean, all of these stocks getting a boost on that. Wanted to touch on these real quick because it's not 420 yet, but it's been quite a day for the cannabis sector as well. And this all goes back to, we touched on it a little bit on Friday. If you remember, we were talking about the Republicans now coming out with not necessarily a legalization bill, but the basis for the possibility of a bill coming from the Republican side, which is the first time we've ever heard of such a thing. So, yeah, it's a nearly 14% kind of day for Tilray, guys.
There we go. A little bit of action there happening for you. Yeah, look, I mean, Tilray, great opportunity. I haven't been long this name at all. And I always say this, like, pardon the pun, but this is flying high here today as Tilray up 14%. Look, great job by the Republicans, but honestly, is any of this really going to get passed? I don't know, but it's nice that they're talking about it. I still think that we always look for breakdowns in this stock, and we're getting very, very close to taking a short rate now. So I think if we can break down below even this, I mean, we could take it right here, but I think back below 12, I think there's something there. For me, when we looked at this earlier, we talked about the favorite name of mine has been CGC. So that's Canopy Growth. And this, come on, charts, let's go. Canopy. There it goes. Okay. Finally load up there. So 1280 right now. The same kind of move upside. It was only up 3 or 4% when we looked at this the first time. Now you're seeing Canopy starting to go here. But this is what I mean by not getting too excited. Because look at this move. This is what it looks like the last 6 months. Just been straight down. You've gotten a couple relief rallies in here. So for me, I'm not getting too excited about any of these names until we cross above 15 bucks. Once we cross above 15 bucks, then call me and we'll talk a little more serious. But for right now, I think Canopy's great where we're at. It's a nice relief rally for sure, but I'm not sure there's much legs to this. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything. And if anything, guys, I do like a short here on Tilray if we can break back below. It's funny because I think the charts were working. It's just Canopy and Tilray were almost the same price there. So I like a break. I like a break below $12 right there on Tilray. So we'll take that, and then we'll see what we can do. But right now, AMC. We'll do it one more time for AMC, because if we hit the moon, maybe then we'll go there. So we're trying to still get AMC to go to the upside. We'll wait to that short on Canopy.
So you're talking me off of buying Sundial, Sean? Is that what's going on? No.
No, you should definitely buy Sundial.
You guys,
buy all of the shares of Sundial right now.
There's a lot of them out there, but it's a penny stock, so I guess that's okay.
Yep.
Look, you guys know how usually you know how I feel about Sundial. It's getting to an interesting level here. As you're seeing, it's up 9%, I should say. So it has been a strong move, but it's getting to an interesting level. Some failures at this 70-cent mark before. Certainly the bigger level here is going to be 77. The volume's only okay for Sundial, believe it or not. You'd like to see a bit more than that. It is off these highs. If it got parabolic from here, I'd be looking to fade it at 75. So it's on the radar. It's not doing a heck of a lot, but I feel like in the next coming days, we could have a bit of a trade. That PPSI, like I said, if it's a fail break in a minute, I'm usually looking for that short. What happens? First consolidation lower. I grabbed the short off of 11, so 1090. It did make that breakdown. Scalps them out in front of 1050. Going to hang on, see if we can't get this. I mean, if it goes to 950 here, that's a solid return. It's still in an upward trend. I don't want this breaking like 1125 on me. And then we got that reload on the trade desk as well, so now I can get more aggressive in sort of taking that one out. There was CBAC, which I think Brendan mentioned this one right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it's been a strong one. Look, there's been so many names affected by the infrastructure bill. CBAC, CBAT, the stock, of course, because that's not confusing at all. Making moves here today. Now, on the daily, not going to see a heck of a lot significant until you get to about like 385, and if then the 200 period sits at 4.25. So it's not like this would be something where I'm playing it off of obvious levels here, but this is a failed break twice at 350. I think that gives you now a lower high. Could be putting a bit of a head and shoulders play on here. So I'm setting this one up. It looks like it could be a bit of a short. But just keep in mind, this is not reinforced by the daily chart. There's no sort of obvious levels that I like to dig into. Just a couple of failed breaks at 350. But what did just pop to the downside, again, is this PPSI. So that one's starting to head our way. I don't know, I just head our way, and then
I like
Brendan's
that.
head there, whatever. And then I got Brendan in my ear. So if it gets to 950, I'm looking to run to the exits. Brendan, what do you got?
It's worth noting, guys, we have obviously huge names right across the board still to come for earnings this week. Disney, one of those, going to be Wednesday. That's a new Marvel movie that just opened over the weekend, 161.7 million. There was a headline earlier, a lot of people talking about AMC with the second best box office weekend since the reopening. So, I mean, some positive catalyst, but I mean, we've been talking about Disney over the past little while, guys. Not really on the positive side of things.
Well,
It's just disappointing, Disney.
yeah, I mean, I talked about Disney. I mean, I may short Lucid right here, guys, just quickly. You're at this nice top right here for Lucid, 46.70. I mean, you're not too far away from making a decent decision here where you do have, takes out that 46.70. It's a little bit of a risk because you're going short, a name that's up 11%, but I mean, this is not a horrible spot, I don't think, right here for Lucid. So we'll work our way into that one, hopefully a little bit higher. Look, this morning when I saw Disney pop to 178, I was not close to doing anything about it, but in the pre-market, we saw it up here. And the reason why this area is so important, and it's not like it's super important, but look at this. If you're barcoding on the bottom here, which you are at 170, then what is this at the top? We have broken out to 190. I think this is a better area to take some profit out, right? I think Disney's going to disappoint. So you're going to hear it here, maybe not first, but my call is Disney's going to disappoint a little bit right here into this. I don't think their movies are doing quite as well. I don't know if that 161 doesn't sound super exciting to me, but again, I understand, it's hard to base anything on what's been happening right now, especially when we're talking about, worldwide releases and stuff like that, and you do need, butts and seats for that. But again, I don't know, man. Like, Netflix has come up with some great content lately. My kid's watching something called Raising Dion, which I started watching that as well on Netflix. It should be a Marvel movie, to be honest with you. And it is just amazing. I think it's amazing anyways. Have you seen Raising Dion?
I have not.
You should put it on your list there. You can you can even watch it with the kid there. It's probably a little bit too old for it, but it is kids. Anyways, it's kind of like a sci-fi, but it's really super family oriented. Anyways, the point is, I don't think that Stars release that Disney had was as great as it could have been. And then you had, 30,000 Detained at Shanghai, China, because of one COVID case. So I feel like the policies really aren't great yet to deal with all this. So Brendan, you asked a question about Disney. You know, I'm still in it. I'm
going to pile in here.
I'm still hella long, but I really don't think it's super for earnings, but we'll see.
I mean, okay, Newegg breaking again, so it's continuing to ride higher. Actually, just got some locates, but Disney, part of the problem too is nobody actually knows who's paying for Disney Plus, because so many packages are giving it away for free. When you look at the Netflix numbers, it's like, okay, but we know who's paying for Netflix, at least to a greater extent than with Disney. And Stars is okay, the content, I have it. I'm just really concerned, especially in India where they're essentially giving it away. It's just included in so many packages. I feel like it's going to be difficult to get actual clarity there. And the market likes to understand what's going on with certainty. Yes. And I'm not sure that we're going to get any of that from Disney. Brendo.
Another group kind of hanging out going into the final hour now, guys. Welcome if you're joining us for the first time in the afternoon. Now, 2 to 4 every single day, guys. We're going all day long. Join us at 8:30 to 11. Memes and movers, 11 to 2. Then we're back 2 to 4. So we'll fill the entire trading session for you and even give you some pre-market. I was just checking on Bitcoin. Not really doing anything at this point, kind of hanging out. Ethereum all-time highs today. Bitcoin didn't quite get there. We came close, but didn't quite get to all-time highs. Another group we had on watch today. I mean, there are a few, you can say, quote unquote, legitimate trades here when it comes to crypto related stocks. This has been just an amazing move for HUT 8. I don't know why there's not the rest of my daily chart's not loading there, but HUT looks great still, coming back into some decent levels here, guys, for crypto stocks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I keep saying trade the ETHEs of the world, the GBTCs of the world, if you're going to try to trade something that is going to follow Bitcoin more on a one-to-one base. But what about Riot blockchain? I mean, again, it kind of went meme crazy back in February, so it's kind of like when we look at the Palantir chart. I try not to really think about that Palantir went to 37.38 because these aren't real levels here. Obviously, Bitcoin was going crazy as well. A lot of piling on some of these names, but Riot blockchain for real now has settled down. It's into this area right now. And if you just get a break, like right around here, I mean, they bought, what was it? I thought they bought 6.7 million Bitcoins, or the other way around, maybe $1 million worth of Bitcoins. They had some news there on Friday about another purchase that they made of Bitcoin. So, I mean, I just think that Riot blockchain, a nice to move upside. I like Hive as well. Hive blockchain is another name, HIVE, that we can get ourselves into. But Riot to me is just looking like it wants to take some of these out. Now, like, that could be the case. We'll wait to see. I think they're too leveraged probably to the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does fall back in, that's something. But I believe it's just HUT, right? Because there's HUT 8 is also in Canada, and I believe that's on the CSE. But we did have Kevin O'Leary come by, and just like WonderFi and just like some of these other plays here, there has to be some custodial aspect here, which is why Coinbase starting to go upside as well. And you can see HUT 8 involved in mining, involved in altcoins and everything. So as Solana keeps going up, and as a lot of these other products like my ADA finally moving a little bit today, like whatever, 5%. But as some of these start to move upside, I think you got some love here for stocks like HUT 8, and I want to get involved in this if we ever dip down. So I don't know. And I was talking to Greg about this, Neil. I don't know what you think, but there's so much money on the sidelines with all of these because I'm waiting for a pullback to get back in, and it's like everybody's waiting for that. So until there's a pullback, I'm not sure if there's going to be new money put in here for crypto other than institutions, which we want in there. But I think for a lot of retail, people probably waiting for a little bit of a pullback. We've seen pullbacks happen before. So for me, I'm interested in buying some Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we're already long, and I just don't feel like these are good levels to add to. So there may not be a pullback, in which case it's FOMO central.
That's that's sort of the problem, right? Like if everybody waits for a pullback and it eventually doesn't happen. I'm looking at Newegg. That's the chart up here, not about crypto, but and it doesn't happen, then everyone ends up taking the breakout, and then it just exacerbates the break. So if it holds these highs, ultimately all that money on the sidelines is just a form of strength for everybody. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm always about buying in the dips, putting that money to work in that regard, and just it allows you to think a little bit easier when you get that significant pull. Those 20% pullbacks, you just dip in on those days. This Newegg, which, the float's tiny. I think this is more the run here. It just got to $18 in reverse. Now, there's nothing There's nothing obvious other than the fact that it's 18 bucks. I went to look at the daily, more like 19 would have been a level there, 20 would have been a level. Instead, it pulls back up to VWAP. So I didn't manage to get a trade here because I wasn't really hunting for it at 18. I thought it would break that high, give you a push to where 19 was in the daily, maybe even 20, and then that would be bingo bango, you know what, and then get a nice little short position. PPSI, we're hanging on to that as it continues to grind lower. It's starting to slow down, this move. Obviously, it's getting close to that 950 mark, so it's a pretty solid short. When it put in the fail break at 12 even, the lower consolidation, I do think it could stall out at about 950, in which case you might want to run to the exits and trade desk. It's holding up at the top. So it's consolidating, was able to get more shares in. Now I can think about taking some out at that first leg, 888, 8890, something along those lines, and then out in front of 88, then see if we can't hold the rest into VWAP there as well. So do have a few positions on here. There's a heck of a lot that we could have traded. If CBAT had a level, like I said, if this had been a level on the daily, I probably would be in CBAT as well. It's starting to come off. I mean, there's so much that we haven't even covered. I don't think we've talked about this one at all today, Brennan, despite how much it moved last week.
Yeah, there was huge moves in some of the gaming stocks. Just pulled up Penn National here because it spiked down again through 59, but retook 59.5 there pretty quickly. 3.3 to the downside. Draftkings as well. There was a headline there a little bit earlier this afternoon involving Golden Nugget. That took it up through day highs. Or right back down into this range. My daily chart not updating there. We'll hit it again. There we go. This group, though, guys, I mean, can't really get out of its own way, it would seem, at this point.
Well, okay, so we understand that some of what happened with Penn, in addition to the earnings, was the negative press, which we don't need to get into. My life as a Penn shareholder was relatively short-lived. As most of you guys know, I should have sold in the pre-market. I didn't. I was fortunate enough to be able to get it out. Look, the second push down last week on Thursday through 65, that was more the story related. The first push was earnings, and then it pushed through 65 based on the stories with David Day Trader there, and was able to get out there. It still hasn't recovered. It ends up putting in a lower high, which if this had been 64.60, I think that's an easier short today. If it had been right at that 65 level, it can't even sniff it. And this is the thing. When a stock can't make that, bounce or whatever you want to call it, sometimes you just short the bottom. It is still putting in a bit of a higher low. At this point, I would certainly, and I guess I do implicitly favor Draftkings over Penn. I think that's an easy thing to say. It's probably going to have to settle itself down a little bit. It seemed to me like because that second half of the story wasn't basically company related, that there would be a chance for a bit of a bounce, but you're just not seeing that happen today. And we did mention allow this to settle down for a couple of days and then see where the stock goes, because it was a bit of a double. It was like a double dip that Penn got, and it's hard to recover from that, especially when so much is booming today. Like you get such a strong, set of names that are moving momentum-wise that are popular stocks for retail, and it's just hard for the money to come into Penn when it has this cloud surrounding it. It's probably going to need to settle down for a couple of days here before this gets going here, Sean.
Yeah, and I think that, Penn's demise, I guess, would flow better into Draftkings. I saw a story today that Penn is excluded from any of the talks for a casino or gambling license in New York State. So that's not good for Penn shareholders and great for Draftkings. I mean, someone's got to step up. I know there's a FanDuel sports book in the Meadowlands, and I think that's where we're going, right? I mean, I don't think there's anything better. Go AMC. Let's go. 55 cents on the money on that one. $1.50 on FSL. 55 cents on Peloton right now. But I think that's what we're doing right now. And when you go over to Europe, and I know some of you are there right now, or the UK, you can literally just go into Old Trafford or any of those, Wembley, anywhere, and go into Will Hill, and there's like booths set up. So you could just drop, whatever, 100 quid, whatever you want to there. You see that? That's from...
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that's from Ted Lasso. Anyways, and I've also been to London, which I think is beautiful. That's the next place I want to take my wife, and although we're going to Budapest in the spring, so that should be fun as well. But anyways, I just think that, following throughout here, Draftkings has some of these bottoms right now, and if we zoom back one more time, we'll show you here. We know it's a name that ARK likes as well, so I think first mover advantage for Draftkings is big, man. The word on the street, of course, is Draftkings. If anybody talks about gambling, MGM's doing a fantastic job, obviously being, onshore and local to the Las Vegas market there. They're also working with a lot of gaming boards as well to get their online applications for some of their apps to go. So I think that's big. But again, DraftKings also working with MGM as well. So you know what? I think DraftKings right now, and I've said this before, it's worth nibbling at 40, man. We missed it on Friday when it did dip down, or Thursday, one of these days, where they came out and it wasn't great. They touched that 40. It was looking bad. That was like in the pre-market. I don't think anybody could have realistically got any shares there. But like Roblox, start to nibble now. I'm basically out of it in my swing trade, but I am still long DraftKings in the longer term portfolio. So let's hold out on it. I think it's worth buying, but there may be some more pain to come for DraftKings. And if so, man, then I think it's into this area. High to mid 30s, a great spot, but nothing wrong with starting a position right now, Brendan.
There we go. Just seeing another one of these little clean energy names popping up. SPI Energy, guys, we were talking, obviously infrastructure related. They're kind of covering the entire group here now. This one's small though, 15 million. There's a tiny 3% short interest as well. But this was one of those ones. I was trying to remember, if you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, this ran, I think, with the meme stocks. Yeah, there was a squeeze. When was this? Way back at September. With the meme stock. So SPI, 15% here. You can see big volume burst there through 550.
As usual, thank you, Brendan. I'll hit this key for you because I was able to just get at a PPSI after Brendan comes in. And this says hold my beer at 190% to the upside. But we did short it off 11 break. I just got those last shares out there in front of 950 like we said we would. And speaking of runners, yeah, we talked about, Brendan, you brought us pets. Halts. Number 3 to the upside. So that'll be a volatility halt open in, I don't know, a couple of minutes here, probably 5 minutes. A halt, so that gives it 3 minutes or so until we open here. Pets on the run. This is the break that you're going to have. I mean, the last halt, you're going to get a break of essentially that pre-market or last week's highs through $6 as well. So we'll be all over this on the reopen. Lucid as well, breaking the high of the day. So there is a ton moving with an hour to go. It's going to be an exciting power hour here, Sean.
Yeah, we didn't get into that Lucid. We sort of talked ourselves out of that as crazy it's been going. But I just talked myself into, and that's why we hit this, into DraftKings. So it's funny because we just talked about it. Look at this. 2 minutes ago, Brendan, you could probably find this news. New York gambling regulators approved 9 mobile sports betting operators, including FanDuel. We knew that because that was already in Jersey. And then included in that is also DraftKings and the aforementioned MGM as well. So, hey, there you go. So we'll take a long in DraftKings. Not really expecting this to go. I think it was pretty well thought that was going to happen anyways. So, yeah, I'm not in love with this play. But at the same time, we could break right now 44.65. Nothing wrong with getting that approval. So, hey, man, we'll take this one and see how far we can go with it. DraftKings right now, new spot, long at 54. I mean, we're now breaking the high right there. So we'll spin it. Today we don't have too many problems with this. But let's, you know what? Whatever. I'll see if I can take, did I just get a piece out? Yes, we did. So we take a piece out there at 70 at the high. So there you go, man. AMC, you wanted a banger? We took that for you. Boom. That one to the upside. Then we take DraftKings. Boom. That one's 20 cents right there. So now we'll see if it goes even higher right now with DKNG making a move backside. And you know, if the NASDAQ goes, maybe we get some love. This looks almost like the DraftKings chart where right now the NASDAQ bumping up against 16,400 or so. I guess that's the top. But if we can just break through this 16,370, then we can probably continue to the high side the rest of the day. We're only up 0.1. Obviously, NASDAQ has a lot of room to run. So we'll stay in this DraftKings position. We'll try to average in if it comes back down here. But the thing about it is, when you get news, and then that's the follow through, if it doesn't continue to go, then maybe that's it. So we're going to pay attention to that one.
Yeah, and Newegg here, a double top now at 18 even. I took some on a 50 level, like lower high, and then it retested the top. I get more shares in when it failed a second time at 18. This will be a clean, like, reversal type of play. Look, I mean, obviously it's coming down here, so we're probably going to make some profit if it takes a couple bits lower than 17 even. But I think this can be a reversal at 18. We're going to be opened up in pets in just a few seconds as well, so I'm going to be watching that one. But Neg making some power moves here. 18 can be a reverse, but I'm shorting in front of it first things first. Brendo?
Let's go back to the EV space. Gores Guggenheim, which is a SPAC, if you haven't heard. It's Polestar. Trying to think of the name. Polestar is going to be Gores Guggenheim. It hasn't de-SPAC'd yet. I was checking 80 million free float on the SPAC itself. It's about a billion on the market cap, but GGPI running here into the close as well. So even the SPACs related to the EV space on fire. Neil, I mentioned this morning, if anyone was joining us this morning, on my way here today, I actually saw a billboard on the side of, I think it was Bloor, just up in the north part of Toronto here, with a big Polestar poster on it that said, Polestars are collector's items.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that you talked about this morning, was interesting too, almost getting hit by a delivery drone there, Brendo. Not telling that story to everybody, but no, it's obviously, it's going to be a big mover. But Pets reopened here and is absolutely screaming once again to the upside. It's actually breaking 7 even. As I just, oh my goodness, yeah, he just got into a 7 break. And if it's a fail break, gets past like 675, I'll probably try to dump it like right away here. But I mean, crazy move here in Pets that you are seeing happen. I mean, it's just an absolute runner so far here today. So look, maybe it's going to make a run. I was just able to get into a bit of a long position. And then if it does make a failure, fair enough, like 675 breaks, and we're going to have to cover this one and then see what happens. Because, I mean, we've seen these run before and hold those halt prices. Obviously, that can be one of those like fail breaks at 7 even, but still hasn't managed to hold an offer below that 675 range, guys. So still a chance that this one might go, just trimming it off a little bit. And then looks like 18 held on neg. So I'm still in the short on neg. Of course, I like a reversal at 18 even to the long side. That just has not come into play yet on Newegg. There it goes, actually. Neg just broke 18, so did I get the long? Yeah. Nope, did not get the long. Gonna get into it right now if I can. Of course, now managing 2 things at once. Got the Pets, which we're still holding on the long side as that starts to break 7 even. By the way, if Pets halts, if we get a halt on Pets, with an hour to go, we do have the option of holding into the halt. Like, this is a situation where I can certainly say to myself, okay, I can hang on to half of these shares going into that halt. I don't have to cover. If this was like 350 or 330 even, I'd probably just be getting out of everything, right away. But in this situation, do have the opportunity to take some out in front of quarters and then in front of 50s. And then if it halts at like 770 or into $8, you can definitely hold on to some because there's enough time to let it work. Usually by now, at this particular point in the day in the show, Sean, we'd be thinking about like, oh, getting flat an hour in. Now we can think about what do we want to hold on to going into that close. Pets still running like crazy. I did miss out originally on the Newegg the first time through 18. Got it the second, and the second not looking nearly as good as the first push because the first push did go to 1850.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Mike. There. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the super chat, Mike Crean. There. Thank you for the new show. And by the way, as you guys can see here, look, Mike, dunks. They're on, and we're rocking and rolling today. So thank you for that. Actually, Mike, I'm going to say something. I got more Air Force Ones over the weekend. Now I'm addicted. I got the Foot Locker app, and I'm in there buying everything. So what's up, Brendo?
We were talking about Neil and I were just talking about these things. This is a different company, but this is what I was talking. Hey, this is Toronto. This is not the company that I saw, but it was one of these. So they roll along the sidewalk. I have no idea what they even deliver, but this thing was not going to even remotely try to get out of the way so I could walk through. I had to get out of its way so it could walk by. These things, these little things with these antennas and the flashing lights. I don't know what Tiny Market is, but it was a different company. It was Blue, the one that almost ran into me, guys, on the way home.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about those either because I saw one of those on the street as well, and I saw a bunch of people standing behind it, like taking all these pictures like it was the coolest thing ever. So, yeah, I don't know what's up with those, and I don't know what's in them. I thought it was like a cake delivery service or something because I'm thinking like, what could actually fit in there, let alone if it was anything valuable. I mean, I'll just swoop that up, throw it in the car, and Bob's your uncle, right? You're out of there. But obviously don't do that. I don't think theft is, but that's always been a worry of mine, just like Amazon, right? Like as if they're going to send drones out there. And then, like I'm going to see like a drone carrying like an 85-inch TV there, dropping it on someone's property. But obviously, what they carry and what they sell has to be reasonable and fit in there. So yeah, don't get run over by those little drones. And I have no idea the company that's doing that, but we've seen a bunch of different automated, and that's about the metaverse again, right? Not that delivery has anything to do with metaverse, but the more and more that we stay inside of our homes, the more plays that are going to be needed like that. You're going to need to have drone delivery, and then it does take away the aspect. We already know that Uber, their real play is going to be on automation and things like that. So as some of these delivery companies, UPS, FedEx, things like that, if they can start to eliminate the need for drivers, I mean, we're hearing right now driver shortages, right? That's a big problem. So hey, if you can start eliminating that, I like the drone service there. It's called V-Delivery. I see someone managing that. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ones there in Canada and in the U.S. So
it needs to get out of the way when you're walking.
You'll probably see them there,
man.
Yeah, you'll probably. I don't know. I mean,
move.
Yeah, you got to just get out of the street. I just don't know. I don't know legally. I don't know like someone.
You know what, Brent? Look, you know what Brendan should have done here, and I said this to Brendan. The first words out of my mouth was, "Hey man, let's let that bad boy hit you,"
right?
And then be like, "Ooh,
that's
Peter Griffin,
like,
my knee, my bad knee." Come on now, like that's low-hanging fruit right there. Just let it take you out, bro.
I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't let. I don't know if I'd let it take you out, but hey, that's not a horrible. No, hey, it's not. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about vandalism. Like if you own that and it's getting like, what if that gets tipped on its side, right? I mean, then you're not making the delivery. It can't make its way back upward bound, and that's that. So I think. Yeah, what's up, Brendan?
I was just gonna say it doesn't have a turtle recovery feature or something that would like flip it back up onto its wheels. Just out at 3 o'clock as well, guys, for crypto-related new data from CoinShare.
Good one time.
If you didn't need any more reason why things are going to record highs, inflows hitting record highs so far this year. I mean, this is all obviously, but that just came out at 3 o'clock there, guys.
Oh man, yeah. Me and Neil actually just talking about keystroke errors and
oh, by the way, Pets just broke 675, so I'm going to be out of Pets here. It looks like that's a fail break at 7 even altogether. No halt to the upside, no reverse either because you're right into that halt level at 630. So there's no way I'm going to reverse this one. It's a little bit too tight into that halt to the downside. But it might not be done for the rest of the day, but certainly that break might be come and gone here in Pets. 175 when I want no piece of it anymore.
Oh, you can use those with Uber Eats. Yeah, Rob just sent us. Unfortunately, Rob, like. If Brendan has something, he can go back better on his screen than me blowing that up. But yeah, Uber Eats maybe uses Eats. And that's what I mean about delivery services, guys. Like, honestly, I just think it is going to be the future. We've talked about that over and over again. Uber even mentioned that. So we'll wait to see where those things go. But I think they're pretty cute overall. Am I allowed to say cute? I just think it's an interesting idea on overall. And I saw them there on the street and was like, what the hell? Okay, so enough talking about that. AMC looks like it's coming back in right now a little bit. Sorry, Draftkings, I mean, as we did not make that high. So we didn't make, we actually made a new high and we broke out, but now you can see the NASDAQ sort of, that's what I meant to say, sorry, the NASDAQ didn't make that new high. So Draftkings right now coming back in a little bit. I don't want to hold Draftkings because I think the NASDAQ is just, that was a nice bump up there on the New York listing, I guess, of listing them as one of the companies that can offer mobile gaming. I don't think there's any bigger market than Manhattan. How many sports teams are there? College ball. I mean, there might be. I mean, Florida may have more teams. I'm not sure. Or Texas. But I think New York right there, just as far as the different, upstate, all that stuff, gambling's huge, needless to say, in the state of New York. So I think that that's going to be obviously something that's going to be talked about for a while. I like Draftkings. AMC, though, I mean, I like AMC, but it's having a problem at this 44.80. So unfortunately, I am deciding maybe, I haven't done it yet, but I think that getting some out here at 44.75 might make a little bit of sense. We are long right now at 44.10. It would be a 65-cent win for us, but I do think that AMC can and has the potential to continue to climb here into the afternoon. So let's take one spot off here at 44.75 and continue to do that. What was that chaos? Thank you for bringing this to my attention. 3,300 watching, which is a record for the evening show, maybe, I'm thinking. But what's up with the likes? So you guys want us to go here, right, all day. So we did it for you today. Now I'm going to have to get mucho upset. Oops, I didn't even turn the like. There it is. Well, I have to like it. So there you go. So now that I'm upset at everybody else, since I hit the like, see if we can't turn that frown upside down, man. Let's try to get 1,000 likes right now. We have 722. Let's see if we can do that, man. We've given you some bangers. We've talked about all the stocks you guys want us to. Hopefully early. We've talked about metaverse, everything. I like this new format, and I got to give a big thank you and a huge thank you to Brendan, because without him, we wouldn't be live right now. So shout out to you, Brendan. I would say let's go, Brendan, but we all know that means something else.
It's Brandon.
Brandon. All right, let's go, Brendan.
You can
let's
say,
go.
yeah, I mean, it's...
We try not to be political here.
No, but cheering for Brendan's easy, man. Come on.
That's what I'm
We can
saying.
all
Always cheering for Brendan.
That's
is
no
very,
problem.
very
That's no
easy,
problem.
especially when he does this.
Dada.
There we go. Thank you, Brendan. Look, he told us to buy Dada a long time ago. If you watch that thing, and look at this. Let's look at Dada quickly here, Brendan, as we have a chance. It was one of your favorite stocks to trade there, or was it Dada right now? Let's see what it's doing. Obviously, it get roasted in some of those Chinese names going up and down, but Dada. Let's see, what do they do here? Oh, yeah, Brandon, not a good recommendation there, bro. All the way up to $56, $57.
Well, it depends on when he made it. Come on.
I think he made the call like somewhere around here, and obviously we're just playing around as Brendan.
Bottom Wickens called the bottom.
Yeah, he has never endorsed Dada.
Never, actually.
It was just one of those things.
Probably the opposite, actually.
Dada.
I thought it was pretty cool there. Now we've got it timed out perfectly. So thank you to Brendan for that one. He more likes this. There we go. What's up, Brendan?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. That was from last week. Rob got creative with that one. So
he did.
Shout out to another Rob today,
okay.
Lifesaver. Rob S. came through today, and I was sitting here really super panicking, as I think we all were. I think we had 4 or 5 eyes on here, and then we only needed 2 eyeballs.
seconds.
And then as soon as Rob came through, it was fixed. Quick time.
We got Sean's computer up and running 90 seconds before the show started. It was
yeah. That's why the sticky note was a little bit delayed. But you know what the funny thing was? So I got like 80 likes on the no sticky note because people were like, oh, don't worry. Then when I posted the sticky note, we got another bunch of likes, so it's like 2 for 1 there. So I think that was like a blessing that we didn't have a sticky note up.
Yeah, possibly. But this trade desk. There's still lots of time for this to go. Like usually, if we were an hour into the closing show, we'd be done by now. But it's 2 o'clock, so we have plenty of time here. And when you're making that trade, like I was able to get more in, it's holding consolidation. It just failed again. It got to 89.77, so it failed again on 90 breaks. So it still has that potential for a rollover. You got to put things in perspective. I'm zoomed in. When you zoom out, I just like the risk to reward up here, essentially to 90 on a break. It's like risking 60, 70 cents. I mean, 70, 75, depending on what slippage might be. And then, I'm not even scaling anything out till it gets to the lower end of that range for the first, third, then 88. That's going to get you a good ratio. And then if it comes to VWAP, fantastic. The overall market is still strong, but hey, we're just flat on the NASDAQ. There's lots of runners today, but overall, it's a pretty muted day. I could definitely see some profit taking in some of these names in trade desk. I mean, from the big caps, up 30%. That's about as strong as it gets today, Brendo.
Just going through a couple of other things still noteworthy on the day. PTIX just popping up here. This thing was doing absolutely nothing. There we go. All day on no volume, and then just took off through 2:30. So watch out for PTIX. Also saw an interesting story just pop up on this whole idea of COVID pills versus vaccines. We saw Merck come through. We saw Pfizer come through on Friday. Regeneron with the antibody treatment today. But this note just coming out essentially saying, yes, these pills are coming, but go get your vaccines still, guys, for these. So, I mean, Regeneron did make a move in the pre-market, but ends up being, a bit of a non-event here.
Well, it wasn't as effective as the Pfizer pill. I don't know. I think that's what that comes down to, right? Like it's just the Pfizer had such a high success rate. I think it blew it out of the water, and Regeneron didn't quite wow as much. So that's why you're going to get 1.3%. You're also not going to get the meme stock. Well, okay, so I should never call Pfizer a meme stock, but Regeneron's a little more expensive. You might not get the same amount of retail love going into a name like that. I think that's what we're getting with. And Angel Allen Francis, am I short Moderna for the week? So here's the thing, like I know we said this like several times. I probably said this more. Like I said, Moderna was a short till it's not. And ultimately, I'm not saying it's done yet, but here's the reason why I didn't touch it. You got close enough to that 200 level when it turned at 210 or 209 last week, and it was just so badly beaten up. Then when you make a breakdown like this, you got to be really picky because where you might think it bounced to. And this morning, I said the only level I would play short is 250. And then even if it broke that, you're probably looking at like a 60 to maybe even 65, 70, something along those lines. And it never got to 250. I'm just a little bit more picky with Moderna at this point. It's just it was such a monstrous fall the back half of the week, right? Like this was not gapping. This is the other thing. It was not gapping down. I said this last week. This was when retail came in at 7 o'clock and was dumping. And then it dumped at the open. And then the same thing happened on Friday. It was dumping once retail opened up, and then it was dumping at 9:30. This was just at times when it was open and trading, it was just selling from 350 down to 210. That is a monstrous move, and it's one thing when it gaps down and most of the sell action is condensed in a tighter range. This was all the way through for the entirety of both sessions, including pre-market, and then it made a hard bottom at 210. It's just difficult to come in saying, got to short Moderna. Had it gotten to 250, nice round number, I'd probably take it. It never happened. So, I still think there's going to be chances to get on the back of this again. But when it makes a bottom like that, sometimes it's just good to step out of the way and not get run over when it makes an eventual bounce. Because people see value when there's a capitulation like that. And it's just an unbelievable one. The trade desk works back into the money here. I should. Look, it's only 3:15, but if we get a little closer to the close, I know I've been leaning on the fact that we have more time for this trade to work out, as it's basically been sitting at the top, but at some point, I do have to cover this. Sean and I, if you're tuning in for the first time, all of our trades, we are flat at the end of the day. Like none of these are overnights, none of these are swing trades. So I'm going to cover some of this in front of 88.75. If I cannot get that in the next 10, 15 minutes, I definitely will cover some at 89. Got to start thinking about taking profit on this position. And AMD, it's just not, it doesn't look like it wants to roll over anymore. So as much as I have a good price, if it doesn't want to fall any further, it's AMD. I'm going to have to cover that for sure.
Yeah, shoot, AMD. I mean, what a monster all these names are starting to be today in this metaverse. Just continues to go crazy upside. I do want to give a big shout out to Chris, man. You've been a member for 17 months. Hello, since the beginning. So, Chris, you find me on Facebook or on Twitter, and you have a hat coming to you. So DM me on Twitter. I'll get you a hat from us to you, Chris, or a shirt, something like that. We'll talk about it, but DM me. Thank you so much, for your patronage there. 17 months, man. You get that, especially on such a monumental day. So thank you so much there for Chris as becoming a huge member there. So that's it, man. That's it. We're going to throw some love around to you. So thank you, Chris, for becoming a member so long ago, and it means a lot to us, obviously, as we continue to support you guys. And I'm more than happy to do that for you. So there you go, Chris. Let me know your address, but just DM it to me. Don't make it public or anything. We'll do that. Okay, Peloton right now, another winner for us here right now that we have on. We talked about defending that 50 area, and so far, so good on this trade as it continues to make a move to the upside here, Peloton. I still think we take out this 52, man. We talked about it being overdone today, and it looks like that was the case, but you still do tick down to as low as 49. So our long did get squashed, but right now we are in Peloton. We'll see if it can continue to make a move to the top there. Our F-Cell, man, feeling like Superman. We haven't seen much Miss V here today, but she's around as right now F-Cell taking out the top, up that 25 points today. And you could see right here the reason why we pick F-Cell, nothing else. And I'm just going to watch this go, just continue to fly here. But we liked F-Cell because it was breaking some key levels right here, 950 or so. We hit that early. It's on our watch list, and there you go, man. That's $1.60 right now on a $9 name, so about 20% or so return today on F-Cell if you had it from the open with us, as we still have the same trade on F-Cell. New trades though, guys. AMC getting back to a level that we like, 44.80. I talked about that. We'll be out slightly ahead of there. Hopefully no skin off our back, but we have to defend that level there on AMC. Hopefully we can get out of that one. And then Draftkings, yes, sure. Throw some hot dogs. This is not the throwing hot dogs. Damn it, I hit the wrong one. But we'll celebrate with some hot dogs right there. My favorite one, and we got dressed up as a hot dog, is this one. This is the guy firing off the hot dogs. You're sitting there, you're at a game, and all of a sudden you get hit in the face by a hot dog. I know that's happened to Rob a lot. And then you can definitely grab these hot dogs. We go up to $45.
Rest in peace, Mod.
Yeah, exactly. Right back up to the upside now goes Draftkings, 44.50. Boom, 45.11. Nice move as we go to the high there. So some good trades brought to you today by Draftkings and AMC. I believe that was El Brendo.
Even Rob is laughing at that joke. Sean, you'll be happy to know. GRWG, Sean, specifically, Grow Generations even. Wow. 16.5% for Grow Generations. Just made a day high there on the volume spike, guys.
Pets made a failed break through 750, so it tried to take out that high. We were long into that one. It couldn't take 750. It tried to take out the high, broke to the upside, slammed right back down. Consolidation at $7. I'm short at $7. I'm going to play this one to the downside. Of course, I mentioned, and again, this is the thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it was the right call to no longer hold on for a bit deeper the first third of my trade desk trade. But I said, as it starts to get a bit later on in the session, I got to maybe start getting some of this bid out a little bit higher. So I take off for 40 cents instead of like 60 on the first leg. I'm still going to target somewhere around 88 quarters, maybe 88.50s if it lingers a little bit longer. But I talk about adjusting the plan based on time of day. And then look, at the follow through, it ends up costing me about 10, 15 cents on that leg. That's absolutely fine. Maybe there's a reload on this PPSI coming. I know a lot of people. Look at these ugly wicks here. This is it's barcoding 950 to 10 even here. Maybe there's a bit of a reload. I'm staying away from it in both directions up here. Because if you're going long, what do you stop in 925, something like that here into the long side of the trade? You could let it break up at like 1025 and try to get a breakout. If you're shorting this far away from the high, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So look, I took my trade on a failed break the same way it was a failed break on Pets, and I shorted a consolidation lower at 11. In Pets, it was a fail 750. I shorted 7. That's what we did here, fail break PPSI, and shorted it. And then we got our target, and then we walked away. So I don't see any need to jump back into it. I am still in AMD. This is what AMD is doing at the top. I mean, it just continues to hold 150.50. So I'm going to have to take this one out. It'll be $2 if I get that price. So I can't complain with it. But if this was any other stock, it probably would have dropped $4 or $5 for me by now.
Yeah, my bad on the hot dog cannon there. You can see here AMC just took it out, so hit the wrong one. You wanted to hit to the moon there.
Nice try. Nice try, guys.
I'm not even paying attention, but I know Rob's over there creating some havoc. But there it is, man. AMC, we just got it. So now we'll fire off the hot dogs, bang, 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 as they're going out there. Rob put together a fun little hot dog thing for us the other day. Some good reels there that we had out. But there it is right there, 44.80. Nice little move. We'll see if it can go higher right now with AMC. It should be like firing off some popcorn. Based on AMC, Trader Pratt, everyone's favorite trader, wanted me to show this. And that was that he got spooked out, and he's blaming all of you guys. So please don't spook Trader Pratt anymore. He had this top 46 on AMC. It falls all the way, I guess that's maybe that's VWAP there, all the way down, touches that 43.80, where of course your boy, would be me, comes in, swoops this up. I didn't even know this, that Trader Pratt. Yeah, what a short there, $46. But I guess it kind of looks like me there, Brad, getting out a little bit too early. But hey, whenever you have a short ahead of your buys, that's always good. So a nice little trade there. But you did have that 46, bro. But yeah, next time hold on to it, and we'll be able to celebrate proper style. But right now we're celebrating AMC to the moon. So thanks, Trader Pratt, for that one. As you can see, we can all there's the short right there. We can always talk about getting in on something, getting out on something, not making enough money. But at the end of the day, it's all about learning and making some right calls. And today we've been doing just that. 80 cents now in the money on AMC, 50 cents in the money now on Draftkings, as you guys have seen. FCell absolutely destroyed FCell today. No problems there. Peloton, we're $1 in the money, but we have lost on this one today. Tesla, I mean, hold my beer, Tesla. This was a $30 winner there, and it could have been a hell of a lot more. Barcoding, we did get out for a $4 loser and then ripped it to the upside. Still, Tesla, my #1 profitable stock today on the board. I mean, you take $30, that's going to be my #1 stock. And then the trade desk. I mean, yeah. We talked about that early. I love this name. It reminds me of a mini Google. We talked about Snowflake being a baby Palantir. Turns out Snowflake is like a grandfather Palantir, as the way that one's been moving. But the trade desk, baby Google, without the Gmail and all that stuff, but on an advertising front, making some moves to the upside goes Trade Desk. Love that for them today. 30% missed opportunity on Trade Desk, but never a missed opportunity with Brendan.
I just saw another quote-unquote meme stock of late popping back up here on volume, guys. Avis did this during Memes and Movers. Speaking of Trader Pratt, it did try to break down through 295 there and kind of failed, popped right back up on a volume spike. But another little short-lived squeeze, I guess, if you will, for a car.
Yeah, the thing about car, and like I was sitting here with Sean, was just like, this is probably the easiest short of all time. But it was late to it. What ends up happening is it breaks this 310 and it just sort of snaps up. And when it came back in, that's what you had to get, like that consolidation right here. And it's like, it's probably just going to drop $10. What you have to think about is, when you get into like day 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get a big when it's got no legs to it, and then you get a big parabolic move, it's usually a fade. Like if it shows you a rejection, then usually it's worth putting in the fade trade, which is something that you guys know that I like to do. Oh, did I get the reload on Trade Desk? We're just talking about Trade Desk. Looks like I did get the reload on Trade Desk, so I got one leg out. I'm gonna get some back in here, not quite at 89.40, but a little closer to that 89.25. If you guys don't know where that one's from, there were other fantastic gangster movies that Al Pacino has done. Look, obviously, you guys know.
We've asked
Scarface is fantastic, but
Scarface
for
is
my
favorite movie of all time.
For my money, Carlito's Way might be the most underrated gangster flick of all time. I can't think of something which is less appreciated. It's
Scarface won Oscars
good.
and stuff. So.
Like Sean Penn does a fantastic job in that film. It's classic, man. I'm a huge fan of that movie.
Okay, I'm reloaded.
Benny Blanco from the Bronx, John Leguizamo.
There's so many of them. Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Casino.
Goodfellas gets the credit it deserves.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Undercover movies. Yeah. Carlitos. They all. These guys are getting old, man. I've seen like Pacino and anyways, De Niro. Wow. But they're still pumping out the hits, so it's been a good one. Okay, XL Fleet today, CGC. There's been a bunch of those today that have been moving around. AMD still hovering. My eyes going up here because I have some screeners up there. Lucid. How about Lucid? Lucid right now at the high again of the day. We're still in all these, man. AMC 50 cents in the money. DraftKings 70 cents. FCell taking out highs. Peloton breaking now higher. So. Life is good over here. But Lucid right now, again, we talked about this high, short into that high. We didn't do it, but right now you're taking it out on the bottom side here. So if you're looking, this is a good out right now. If you're stuck long Lucid, I don't think you want to be long this name the rest of the week. And it's been so high up. And I know that there's a lot of talk about Rivian week, and we're super excited about Rivian coming through on Wednesday, 11 billion. I will be a buyer of Rivian, probably both long-term and obviously on that opening print as well. But Ford's getting a bump because of Rivian, I believe. I don't know. Ford was a great quarter, and they've only said great things. So whether or not Ford is Rivian or not, it's been just a monster move up, and we know that they have small money divested into Rivian as well. I'm not sure the exact number. We'll get all those for you on their day, which is Wednesday. And they may not. The good thing about IPOs now, you will see an IPO live because it'll either be with Memes and Movers or back with us again. But there's Ford. It's just such a monster position now for me that we've been taking it out on the way up, but now we're going to hold this and see where we go from here with Ford as, wow, $20, man. When this thing was at 16, we talked about it getting 18 to 20, then it hit 18, then it hit 19, now it hit 20. How much higher do we go on that one? I don't know, Joshua, how we have, both Neil and myself, have the mental capacity to be doing this. I've been doing this now for 20 plus years, but definitely not talking over like 50,000 words a day as I do
50,000? It's got to be more than that.
I don't know. We should put a count on it.
I've always wanted, like, if there was some way to, like, actually see how many words we say, how many times we say each word. It'd be the coolest thing to just know at the end of the day. But we can't keep Brendan waiting.
Yes, we can.
We could definitely find that out. I'm sure there's software that could figure that out for us. Okay, opinion time, everyone, including Neil and Sean. This is a really cool truck. Okay, I'll be the first to admit I really enjoyed this truck. Thanks, Auto Trader, for this. There's this section right here. It's kind of tough to see, but this thing right here is a door, and there's actually a trunk that goes right through the entire truck. When you open this door and the one on the other side, you can see through the entire truck. Just saying. Anyways, Canadian starting price. I want your opinion. $90,000 for a Rivian R1T in Canada. Too much? Too little?
Just right.
I
It's like a porridge, right? You get too hot, too
when
cold.
they sell out, you'll know what
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right price is on it, but I think it's obviously, as a starter position, probably a little bit too high. But we've seen, the different models of Tesla, come down in price as they adjust to the market. But what are the differences between that and the F-150? There's going to be some cool little things there. Like I thought you were going to say that was going to be a cooler, that little pull down thing. I thought that would be pretty cool if they did have that in there as well, accessible, from the outside, because I know people take these things camping, working on,
sure.
So I think that's a pretty cool thing too if they did have that. But 90,000, I would say slightly too high.
I mean, I wouldn't be buying it for that much, but at the end of the day, it's going to come down to will people buy it on the hype, and if it gets sold, then eventually, like you said, Sean, the price comes down, and that's how this usually goes. So, okay, fine, it's easy enough for us to say that maybe it's overpriced, but at the end of the day, when I'm almost certain it's going to sell out, then what's the big deal? So it probably isn't. A couple of things happening with only half an hour to go here. It's been an interesting one so far. I'm hitting this key anyways because. A, I like the B, but B, I have nothing to go with pets. Like I don't have a graphic which is obvious, I think, that would work. So continuing to roll over, took some out here at 660 on that fail breakup. And as I said, I would get out of that AMD because it just wasn't doing anything and it keeps holding 150.50. It'll be a couple of dollars in this trade, so that's fine. But any other stock, it makes this many tests at the high, manages to pull back and continue to put in lower highs on a day where the market's done nothing and it's up 10%, you'd probably see this pulling back into VWAP. I just feel like there's just far too many people that are holding on to AMD, and it's just not the same kind of like Lucid pulling back in through 47. Like that can get down to VWAP sometimes. If you're shorting something like that and you got the top, easier to hang on to it in the close. AMD, I'm going to take the money and run on this one. And then Trade Desk, going to have to start thinking about covering some more shares here with only 30 minutes to go. And I did reload on Trade Desk, and I'll zoom in so you can look at this a little bit better. I did reload. It did break 89 last time and get to that 88.75. I still think there's a chance it does that, but I'm right back here at 88.80 or so to try and get some more shares out. And as I just looked over and was like, yeah, if you were short Lucid instead of AMD, better chance that it follows through. And there you go. Like, Lucid's following through right now as it's down to 46.50. You catch a top on a stock like this, and that's when you're going to usually get the much better follow through because there's just more. I guess there's weaker hands in a long. That goes without saying. There's weaker hands in a long of Lucid than there are going to be in AMD. There you go. Because when you showed that picture, I was like, first of all, I don't know where you're going with this hole in the truck thing. What are you using it for?
I get it, because you can put things longer through.
Now he's got a little bit more color to it here. We know what's happening. Right?
I see your cooler, Sean, and I raise you an entire kitchen. How about that?
Done.
Here we go.
There we go.
So
okay.
you get the hot plate. You get, I think, a cutting board. There's a sink under here as well. This attachment, though, I promise this is going to be the last thing on Rivian until Wednesday.
Just buy it already.
I think Brendan's buying one.
Just buy the damn thing.
This entire thing is a $5,000 addition or add-on, I guess. If you buy one of these. A lot of people are talking about the American price. I think it's 70-ish versus the Canadian 90-ish. So it still ain't cheap, man. But cool truck.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Brad, you might not have the administrative rights. You might have to ask him his V. He's trying to put up a poll there, so we'll see.
He should.
If we can get it. If there's a poll that goes on there, use 70,000 as the price, okay? Because it's 90,000 Canadian, and we have more American viewers.
Obviously.
So if we just put USD in there, that makes it a little more reasonable. I saw someone say that they paid 50, 60, 70,000 for their trucks, which makes sense. I mean, that's what they cost. So I don't think it's that outrageous. Based on some of the cool things that they do have there. So I got, obviously, being Italian, I mean, I have a lot of friends and family that are in construction. I think they would love some of that there. So that's going to be a big one for them, I think. Okay, Peloton right now $1 plus in the money. We got to get ready to start clear some of these out. It's 9:32 right now. As Peloton just at a level that we were like, hey man, we'll take it out if it gets back to 52. Well, we got to 51.70 there, so we'll wait to see on that one. What's up, B?
Space guys, earnings tonight, just popping up here through 20. Some volume coming into Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, so much for that thing breaking $18 and like giving what I was going to think was going to be an entry point before these earnings. Like you will have to wait till after earnings because I thought for all intents and purposes, the second it took out this 18 level, it was headed down to 14.15. Just keep in mind a few things. A, they don't have catalysts for months. B, I mean, what earnings, right? Like at the end of the day, here you just want to see progress. when it comes to some of their maintenance, and I want to see some positivity come there. If they move up if they move up some of their flight timelines, I don't think that's going to matter too much. It's more about letting it settle down and watch the price action, because it's a long-term play, and they're not going to make money for a while. I see it there. Oh, the poll is...
My vote never works, by the way.
Anyways,
I
the
don't know
poll
why.
here, I thought it was going to be able to price. It's a Rivian or the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm with you there, Cybertruck, man, because Elon, holla at your boy. So I just put my vote in. It doesn't work for you. It just worked for me.
I don't understand.
And the
why,
Cybertruck's
man.
winning. I don't know why it doesn't let Sean vote.
Look,
Every
Rivian
time we
pickup,
try these, Sean
no,
can't vote.
I'm logged in as myself. Try to pick it up.
I'm logged in
vote.
as myself.
I know. It doesn't want me to vote. Okay,
Figure it out,
but,
YouTube. Let the man vote.
Yeah, for me, it's because my vote don't matter. I would go to Cybertruck as well, but I do like the Rivian.
That's all of us.
Look there. Yeah, I think everyone's going to go Cybertruck on that one, so we'll wait to see. I think Brendan will probably be Rivian there. Okay, so Peloton, what else do we have to look at here? FCell, I mean, we might want to get out of some of these as names dropping right now to the bottom. FCell, a break of 11, let's get out. We've already enjoyed this from 950 up to 11 and change, 1120. A big win for us today on FCell. So we got to keep some money in our pocket. Obviously, today we want to end up at the highest spot we've been at, so we'll take that out. Draftkings does reach nice highs, man. 45 and change. Market thinking about a move down, so we'll have to see what the imbalances bring here today for that. So FCell, let's put some stop orders in. Let's just clean up our past stop orders so we don't have to worry. I guess we're not going to get in on Tilray. We were looking to go short there, but we didn't. Peloton, I guess, can cancel that stop order, as well as we're way up. But let's put in a stop right now to capture this move. If FCell breaks 11, we'll get out of that. And then AMC, I mean, right back to highs. So we're really, super happy with AMC, man. The Bulls be kicking on this name for a week or so now, and continues to be strong. Let's see what AMC can do. They have earnings, remember, so that's going to be a play to look at as well. So AMC excited regardless on this play. Let's just see where we go from here with AMC. I think still higher. We'll see if we can hold this into the close a little bit. And then if they report right at 4 o'clock, we'll see where this one wants to run. But we've already taken out 25. Anyways, the percentages are already out there on AMC, so let's see where it goes from here.
And looks like PPSI is not done. Look, I gave the reasons why I didn't like a reload on the position, but it doesn't mean that you couldn't have done it. It still was a good stop out if you took it out at like 10.25, trying to get to that failed break price of 11. This is not $12. It was actually 11.75 on the break. That was the high of the day, but it failed through 12 even, got to 12.44, so then made it to reversal. So watch out for that one. There was a super chat that someone's saying that we missed there, and I was like, look, if it's GZ, repost the question. We're never trying to miss out on a super chat answer your question.
No.
If you repost it, look, a lot's happening. We're trading live here, doing our best for you guys, and it is all about you guys. Just if you can repost it there. AMC dumps or rips on earnings. My calls are wondering.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's calls are wondering. I mean, you know what?
Predicting AMC moves on earnings.
Yeah, I'm not sure AMC is really going to matter too much on earnings right now. The momentum's there. I would say if you've got calls, I think you're probably good. I don't know what people will be waiting for on AMC earnings. If I look at a chart here, though, for you, I mean, we just broke above the 50 period, the 50 period moving average. You're well above the 100. You have a base here of $35. Honestly, I think we could test $50 today. We're well off. We've taken this out. If people thought earnings were bad, I don't know if we would have got this bump today. So we'll wait to see. I mean, it's the largest attendances since the pandemic, which we've talked about down there. So we'll wait to see. I like AMC. I mean, I'm long right now, man. It's 75 cents in the money. So we've been firing off cannons all day here, and AMC is just going to be another one. As we go, taking out those highs right now, 45 and change, man. We're still long AMC, so I believe in it, and I hope you guys do too. So there we go, man. Nice wins coming in for us today, as I'm at the highest spot we've been at all day. Money flowing in right now. Good day to trade today. Excellent. On the infrastructure news, I know Nucor's come back in a little. Not really, actually. Nucor's still up to 117 NUE off that 95 buy. Maybe getting exhausted here. Nucor was higher in the morning.
Yeah, I think all the infrastructure names, they run so well, right? So, I mean, I was looking across the board. I mean, whether it's Caterpillar, whether it's Nucor, whether it's U.S. Steel, Cleveland Cliffs. I actually didn't check John Deere. Probably should have. But, a lot of those did come back in on selling because it's a sell the news kind of event. With AMC, the only thing I would add is, of course, I just went to Caterpillar. Good job, Neil.
I was going to say Caterpillar's another name.
Click on Caterpillar and your chart goes to Caterpillar. I should have figured that one out. But AMC's breaking out of this recent high, going into the print. So ultimately, one of the chances that it does have here is it might be in that bit of a break mode. You don't have to worry about breaking resistance. It's got the $40, and it's got the 50 period sort of behind it as a bit of a floor just from a technical standpoint. Those are all pretty solid for a breakout, but it is so incredibly unpredictable. Usually when you're staring a winner in the face, trimming makes a lot of sense. And I know a lot of people go for that home run trade, but it's one of those where AMC is the kind of stock, in my opinion, is like ringing the register when you make that play, at least on a little bit, makes a lot of sense to me. That Pets, I don't know, it feels like PPSI made that run to the top side there. And then Pets, that's the daily chart still. And then as that's happening, Pets continues to fall. Now I'm in here in front of VWAP for the last of my shares. Trade desk probably won't work. Of course, we got the winner on AMD, not AMC. And then Pets is the last one in. I do like the notion of trading PPSI off of this high. I mean, you can look at a high break. I don't love 1250, unless it starts to come in the next 10 minutes or so, because we are starting to get on time here. It's at 340 now. But if it does make a failure off of that previous high, 1175, well, that's not a horrible point here to maybe jump into a short. The long break at the high of the day, we're getting it on in time for that to be effective, especially when it's up 240%. Taking a top break when something is already, and by the time it makes that break, like of course it'll be up like over 250%. So that's asking a lot to take that high break. But the short off 1175, if we can get there again, that certainly could be in play.
Yeah, you're welcome, GZ there. Another $5. Thank you so much for that. And we'll just continue to support you guys because you do it to us. So that's what it's all about. We're getting ready for the imbalances. I mean, they come in 10 minutes and it's the market on close imbalances. So we'll have to find out. We will get that earnings board back up for you guys in a minute. Let's just check out to see what Clover's doing. 807, so it has dipped down a little bit. This is one of the more exciting earnings for me anyways. I'm excited to see what Clover can come through as a shareholder. Excited to see also PaySafe, although I'm not sure they were on the board. Palantir was on the board. PaySafe is either tomorrow or the next day. It's the 9th or the 10th coming up here. So what's today? The 8th. So it's not tonight. It's tomorrow morning or the next day. Palantir, man. This again on our sticky note. And if you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much. But please join us every morning as we give out our watch list. And then more importantly to me anyways, sticky note. And we had here Palantir earnings coming out, been strong, sorry. Look at this week, long 2630 break, right? So it's a little sloppy there, but you could see it. It was a little bit rushed today to make it. There's the 2630 break. It's just a pre-market break. It's not rocket science. It's just that was the break right there that we liked, and it just hasn't looked back ever since. So Palantir going to be coming today. I think it's going to be a good opportunity there as well. I don't expect like monster moves for Palantir. We'll see what happens. It does tend to get faded on good news. So I don't know if I like calls for Palantir or not, but we could definitely get back upside. And this is the kind of the craziness I'm talking about. I don't consider these real levels for Palantir, but I do consider these real levels because we've just been there. So 28, 29, 30. I think we could test these and we'll see, man. More contracts. Always not a problem for Palantir. So as long as they have good news, AMC's back to $45. So I don't know, GZ, where your calls are at or what they're doing, but this, I mean, if you've bought calls over the last couple of days,
I was gonna say you have to be in the. You've got to be in the money.
If you've just bought today, then obviously you've paid quite a high IV for it. But I mean, AMC right now making moves. I still think $50 is possible tonight, so we'll see if that comes through. Otherwise, man, we're long right here. So it's been a good trade for us this afternoon on this name. So we're happy with our AMC position.
Yeah, and like I said, it's getting that time of day where you start thinking about trimming some of these things off. Good camera work there. That's Rob. He's getting all fancy with us. So I gotta have to get some of that, get some of this trade desk out. I'm now in front of 89 on the bid, and then when it comes to Pats, sort of the same thing. It's got to the 640 level. Ultimately from $7. Got to be pretty happy if you can take 50 cents on the rest of this trade. So I don't want to let this one get away from me. I'll get on the bid in front of 650. If we get a chance to get a fill, fair enough. Could be a nice little winner. I'm sort of sitting here and I have Lucid up. And it's like from the time that it got mentioned to the time I was like, well, if AMD was Lucid, it probably would have fallen back. And this is what I mean. Like, this is Lucid. Like, once it makes a bit of a high, now it's off $2 from that high. Still up 10%, by the way. So an incredibly strong run for that for this name. We mentioned a couple of these big-time flyers and runners. One that's still going higher. Yeah, Newegg. still going. And I mean, like now we're all the way up to 19 even. I just, I'll ring the register and you know what? I keep hitting this one because I don't know why. I just like that one. We'll do the Brennan face because I just got out in front of 650 on Pets, which the only reason I even looked at that name is because Brendan brought it up at the beginning of the show. So thank you, Brendan, for that. And then Newegg, maybe it breaks his $20. It's the only thing I can see just closing right on these highs, or at least if it holds up in the next 15 minutes, closing right in its highs. I might have just jinxed it. $20 in range for Newegg, Brennan.
They found one that hasn't gone yet. POLA just popping up here a couple minutes ago on volume, guys, which is Polar Power, if you remember, another clean energy name. So a nice day for POLA. Also wanted to mention this, Tesla, this just came out there at 340. Tesla in talks with the Quebec government for a multi-billion-dollar investment into battery production. We just learned, I think it was on the weekend, it might have been Friday, that there's also apparently a plant planned for Ontario, the GTA, guys.
What was that? I missed that whole story. My bad. Okay, so we can recap. I was just looking over all these trades here as we only have a couple more minutes. Something about GTA, so we like that, Greater Toronto Area. Okay, so if that was an important story, I apologize. Brendo, as we're looking at some of these names. Their pen upside. No, pen buttering. I don't know what that means, but pen right now. We're going to get out of Draftkings if we do take out this bottom right there, 44.65. So we're going to take that out if it does come down there. We let it go all the way high side there, but again, with the imbalances coming through, not too certain what Draftkings is going to do. So we'll get out of that one as it's trying to make some new highs here through 45. We missed that. So unfortunately, we'll take that there. We've already got some out for 20-25 cents. Looks like we'll have to slip up and get out the last bit there at that bottom. So not a great call there. Although it was fine. We were waiting for more. It's just like this. Like if I get out of AMC now and then it rips up, well, it is what it is, right? So right now we'll hold on to some AMC. I believe if AMC takes out this 44.75 one more time, then we'll get out of that. So that's going to be my little spot there. So you see AMC come out. It's going to be 44.75. I just don't need the imbalance to come out negatively. Again, on to earnings, so we could be back down into here. So 44.75 is going to be my out for AMC. And then after that, that's it, man. Draftkings, Peloton, and AMC all to the long side in what has not been a long day for the market, but we've been crushing it on some of these positions. That's why it's important to pick the right stocks and trade the right names.
PPS, one of those names that's been a big one today, a big mover. Halted downside, PPSI still up 200% because, hold my beer, right? Like it's now halted 990. 350.45, so it might actually open back up because 348 it could open back up. If it doesn't, then of course you're waiting till the close. Newegg made the push to 20 even. So, to 1977, which is close enough to 20 even, and then pulls back down. I short the consolidation. If it fails again off of this high, like it pops up, does not break 20, that's the only way I would want to add to this position. And there's no way that you never want to hold it through a high of the day break this late in the session. There's still some time for it to be a 20 break to the long, although that's like a few minutes here. Like if it doesn't go soon, then it's just only a short and it's not a reversal into the long. But Newegg closing, at least it looks like it's trying to close in those highs. It did reject 20 once. That was the price I was waiting for after we tried 18s. So we'll try it again here. If we get an open on PPSI, we will jump to it, but this late in the session might not be a lot of time for us to trade that one actively, unfortunately.
So we did get out, we did get out of FSL right there, but we're still super happy with it, man. We're throwing around that cash. 950 bid. We said we're trying to hold these things all day, and that's kind of the good thing now. We'll be accountable to these calls because, and hopefully it'll allow me to make a little bit more money. Getting out a third on some of these moves that we expect to be big time. If it's not going to be like one of those trades where I'm, in love with it, then we will try to scalp it out as much as we can. I mean, that's obviously been working for us, but for right now, I think it's better to hold sort of tight on this play rate here for FSL, get it out right there and like that, and then I don't know, like I said, if there is a scalp in there, fine, but if it's a play that's going to possibly extend like this, then I think we can hold on to it. Wish we would have held on to our AMD a little bit over the last little while as that's still moving around, man. 150 for AMD, NVIDIA, but like you can see there, we're out at 11, and now that we're falling back in, we've saved ourselves a little bit of cash, right? Like the same thing there. What happened to my Draftkings? I thought I was getting out here at 60. Oh, that did not trigger. Oh, 64 break. Okay, so we're getting out right now. There it is. So there goes Draftkings. Thought it was a 69 break, but unfortunately 64. So we'll take 20 pennies or so on that last bit as this is coming back in, and we're getting cleaned out right now out of all of our, not clean, just getting our positions out. As AMC, I told you, that looks like that was a problem there at 45 a couple times over. So we'll get out if this breaks 75. And then Peloton, I don't have an order to get out. Let's just wait to see where that goes here into the close.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll do a bit of a, I don't know, it hits a spike, and certainly the Bills weren't. It's hard to do any spikes if you don't score any touchdowns against the Jaguars, so the Bills didn't do any of that this weekend. So just got some Newegg out here at 18.50. And of course, like, I'm taking winners and making myself angry because I just rethought how ugly the Bills were. And this trade desk doesn't want to roll over. So as I said, as it gets closer to the close, have to start taking more shares out. So I got some more in front of 88.80. Gonna hold on to the last of these just to see where it can go. The momentum is with me. The Newegg momentum is with me to the downside. PPSI, I was just telling you guys that it indicated open of 990 in the chat. It opened at 990. So, I mean, there you go. And it's slightly to the downside on that reopen, but not a heck of you would expect with a capitulation like that maybe you'd open and just flush. Not really happening here on PPSI, but the indicated open was pretty much dead on. A lot of times it won't open exactly where we see that tap, but that's why we put it in the chat there for you guys. I'm not going to trade this with only about 10 minutes to go, and I have to get flat in the other two names that we got on. NEG looks like it might put another downside move in which case I'm going to likely get out in front of VWAP here. And again, it's a little bit arbitrary to say VWAP. It's also about 1750. So a pullback off of 20 even that takes you to 1750. Well, that makes some sense to me as a bit of a nerd and sort of I like those round numbers. If we can get that, we'll be happy with it. Tesla, which I mean, I didn't really trade this one today. You're going to see it fall off. Everyone's like, oh, bye Tesla. I mean, ultimately, you're still 1165 here. So it's actually held a lot of the dip range that it put in. Everybody should have already known that Elon was going to be selling these shares. The fact that it even made that huge flush at the open was a bit of a surprise. I missed my shot at 1200 because it only went to 96. You know, I was sitting there waiting at 97 in the morning show and wasn't willing to chase it. Chasing it would have been good. But with Tesla, as far as I'm concerned, I try to never chase a short on the stock. Either you get the price at the risk to reward that you want, or you don't take it. Otherwise, it's usually been a losing game if you force the action sell side on Tesla.
So Starbucks on in balance. Wow, did we ever call this one? And thanks, guys. I mean, I get a lot of people messaging me. For some reason, more people interested in the Starbucks call at 104 than some of these other calls. But I guess there's a lot of action in Starbucks. So people are really happy with that position there that we gave to you guys. Just thinking that Starbucks was overdone on their earnings day, now up to 115. So that's a nice buy there. Microsoft, I mean, you know, the good just keeps on getting better with Softy up to 336 and change. Almost, was it a new? It might have been a new all-time high today. I think we're still looking at 338 as a high for Microsoft. Yeah, 338.79. So no, we do not put in a new all-time high for Softy today, but pretty close anyways, up to 337. There's Palantir. Palantir coming as a sell. So we'll alert ourselves at that one, as that's not good. We don't want to see that coming through as a sell, especially if it's one of our positions. But that's okay. You can see a nice little move to the downside here on Palantir. Other than that, that Chegg, I guess, has been moving around a bit, as those of you that have been trading it know. Chegg with a nice bump up there with a sell imbalance. So, okay, that's something else. And then other than that, man, Disney with a sell. We talked about that as well. And I don't see much else happening right here. Citigroup with a decent buy. We'll just ignore that. Banks have been hot fire, and that won't move the bank that much there. So Citigroup up to $70. Wow, good move there. And I don't see much else. Intel, I mean, that's an obvious sell. But I still think Intel's probably too low considering they're going to be part of this metaverse, man. I mean, no one's talking about them. And then that's about it. So I don't see much else there. ATVI, maybe if you're interested with a little bit of a bid imbalance, but that's that.
Yeah, not a heck of a lot on the imbalances. This PPSI, which is, I mean, for a stock coming off a down halt that's up 200%, it is really holding support at it's about 935 here if you go back to double bottom, but it hasn't even cracked 950 since reopening. So that's a lot of support at that low. I think that tells you a lot about what the stock might do tomorrow. Might not be a one-day event. That neg, which was looking fantastic, just pops right back into those highs this late in the session. I'm not even, like, it's just one that you don't want to fight. If it's going to take out the top, you just got to get out. Like, I'm just going to get out close to flat. Doesn't want to follow through. If it breaks the high at this point, it's too late in the day for me to want to take it. Might be one of those aftermarket runners, but Newegg on the run and on an absolute tear. So Newegg and PPSI closing the day with some signs of strength, each of them. I still have some of that trade desk, but like, this won't turn into a losing trade. It also won't roll over. So we came in with originally a long breakout on trade desk, looking for a target of 90. We got that target. Then we decided to short off of that failure at 90. that doesn't really give you much. So again, another name, of course, this is not had a 10-to-1 reverse split, not split adjusted. This is that level on the daily that we're talking about here, that 90 level. That is very much in play tomorrow, right? Like it's going to close so close to this high. I think we get a decent chance as long as we don't gap down in the market. We could be staring in the face of a 90 break in the trade desk. So I know there's a lot of earnings to get to, and of course we're going to be trading those in tomorrow's show, but don't sleep on something that's up 30% off earnings and gives you a very, very big level to play off of, especially the way it's closing today. You're going to be able to go long off a level like this on a break. You're going to be able to fade it if it fails to go through, because a 30% move is still a monster appreciation. And if it doesn't break 90 even, you definitely have the short that I think could follow through better than like the 50, 60 cents we got today.
Yeah, and we'll go, that was a good idea, because look what happened to AMC. As we get out of that one, as it just fell through that level. But of course, we were sitting there with our stop order, as we explained to you. So some people say, oh, gambling is, just this is gambling, or we're too risky here. And day trading, I mean, come on, really? Like, we just absorbed that whole hit right there by getting out and having a plan of action right there. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, that doesn't look like gambling there when we have our defined ins and our defined outs. But that's just me. And there it is, a nice out, obviously, for AMC, keeping all that money in our pocket. So I like that play, and I like when that happens. So there we go, AMC with a nice move to the downside there. The only thing we have now is Peloton, and we might as well get out of this right now because we're just cruising at 51. So this is going to be a good trade for us. 70-cent winner. Let's get out right now and throw it over to Brendan.
All right, you've seen it a few times today. Let's make it official one more time. Here's what is to come tonight after the close and before the open tomorrow on the earnings board, guys.
Okay, it's earnings bonanza, and I believe that this is, to me, this is important because, we haven't had I mean, there's always big stocks, but then we don't really, look to trade them because they're so highly priced. We still trade them, but now you get Smile Direct, you get AMC, you're getting Clover, you're getting,
you're getting Roblox.
Yeah.
Look, you're going to get. Look, Lemonade's a stock that I like, and I think ultimately, like, they've been beaten up so badly, it might not be the greatest earnings, but certainly lots of room to run. I've been a buyer in that on the way down, as you guys probably know. I also told you when it got to that 150, it was way too far. Workhorse, highly shorted name. That's another one where you get to run on Ocugen, PayPal. It is a monster board.
Yeah.
3D Systems is on there, which I don't think we talked about in the morning show as well. And then, another one which I'm telling you right now, if Virgin Galactic has a down print and doesn't break 18, then I give up and I'll just buy it in front of 18. I still think that stock trades lower, and I've been waiting for it to get a little bit lower patiently because I don't think they're going to make any money for a very long time. So I kind of feel like you can be very patient with that one. My patience is wearing thin. Continues to hold bids that I don't understand why it's holding up. We'll see what happens after earnings. But there's a lot of monster names here. For trading's sake, I know the bigger earnings for the market have already come in, but for trading, for day trading, some of the better ones are going to come tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with PayPal and everything as well, as they still have that Pinterest, lying in the background, I guess. Although they
wouldn't be hilarious.
They said they're not going to do anything about it, but yeah, Clover is going to trade a lot tomorrow. I believe so as well. I like Clover here. Neil likes Lemonade. I think. We'll see. I just wonder about the downside here. I don't think there's that much. I'm already invested in this, so it's not talking up my own book if I just tell you that I'm already in Clover. But it's not for the earnings. It's just for this bottom play near 7. So I think that we have some nice room to the upside on that one. And yeah, this is going to be my most interesting name. I would love to see Palantir go, but I mean, really, realistically. We've recently put on some purchases here on Palantir, and I just think that anywhere around here, 29 or 30, we'll take some out. It's going to give us an opportunity to get out of some tomorrow, and then we'll see if it can retest some of these highs as Palantir. If it could take this out, would be pretty nice. Like I said, we're in it in our longer-term account and in our swing account, so we'll take some out in the swing and leave the long. So hopefully that can go. We've got out of some Coinbase today as well. Was Coinbase reporting, or they're the next day? We got out some of this at 360 this morning. I think that was a decent play, as well as the U has been completed all the way. So, I mean, instead of waiting for 380, we'll take out 15% right there at 360, and that's going to be a good one. So let's just wait to see. Yeah, same thing, Monkey Shiner there. I bought Clover a while ago and just been waiting for that. We've been talking about earnings earnings and looking out for those days, as well as PaySafe. So I have a couple earnings plays on board there. We did get out of AMD as well, as right now that's cracking, not out of it, but we got out of some shares here on the daily. That doesn't look so great, but let's see on a 1 minute chart. We are breaking now below that 150 one more time. And we got out of our Peloton, which we talked about. We have no trades left on board. So that was a good one for us here today as well. Big day overall, man, with only 2 minutes left.
Yeah, not too much time left, but you know what? We don't often, I just saw this one in there, John saying, what do you think about Amazon? It's like, there are a few stocks that we never get asked about, and Amazon feels like it's one of them. It's like the dirty stepchild. Amazon's a great company. I love Amazon. We talked about this in the metaverse being sort of, it seems like an obvious play, but I feel like to a lot of people it isn't. Amazon is barcoding, and when, just like with Netflix, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it was dead. It's been dead money for a year and a half, and a lot of people could look at that and say that's true. But I mean, why not find something? Does anybody honestly think Amazon is going anywhere in the next 5 to 10 years? It's still going to be here. Still going to be one of the biggest companies in the world. Still going to run the world. Amazon Web Services is crushing it. It's going to be a big driver in the metaverse, whatever iteration that takes, and however long it takes to go. And you're catching the stock before it breaks out. Now, for me, every single time it's made a 10% move down, especially post earnings, it's been a fantastic buying opportunity. And eventually, you're going to run out of chances to be able to do that before it eventually breaks out. So, we did that video, we did that talk earlier on the metaverse, and I think there's some obvious names that got mentioned. Amazon is more of a low-key one.
Yeah, I agree. And before we forget, guys, please, 3,500 watching, only 1.3K likes. Tell your friends, man, we're back now 2 to 4. So, I mean, a lot of people looking for an option to trade with into the close. I think we did a good job today. We'll do a better job tomorrow and then following through as well. So 1.3K likes. I'd love to get this to $2,000. I know we only have a minute left, but that'd be pretty sweet. More importantly, man, hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. So we'd like to see that get shared out. 1.5K, thank you so much for that. With only 30 seconds to go, I believe it's Ms. V on the bell. Yes, always should be Ms. V, but busy sometimes. Busy. Well, even Trader Pratt could be there with her as well. So yeah, nice to have Ms. V there. Again, super busy throughout the day. So thank you for that, Ms. V. We are now up to 1.5K. Thank you for all the likes. It's going to be an interesting night, man. I'm super excited. Go Pittsburgh! As we have a couple of those players ready to rock and roll as well. With only 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, for our suicide pool.
Correction to make, because we need the Bears to win for our suicide.
I mean, if Bears win 50-49, we'll be happy with that one. As we can go.
There's no way the Bears can score that many points.
No, I know. It's impossible. Chance. But the highest Thursday night game was last Thursday ever. I think it was 45-30, and it was two very, very potent offensive teams, the Colts and the Jets. Put up 75 points last.
You know what? As a Michael Pittman fantasy owner, I'm insulted that you would insult the Colts offense. Pittman and Taylor all day, baby.
Taylor's been amazing. Those guys are amazing. What was before we go over to Brendan? I can't see what the count was on our votes. Because it's just simply not working.
There was 924 votes.
Cybertruck, put it on the
screen. And the Cybertruck, 57%. So the Cybertruck wins, which
good.
I'm surprised Rivian did as well as it did. So good there, Rivian. That means a lot of you are probably going to be interested in that IPO that comes next week based on that poll.
Or 2 days.
What? Oh my! Did I say next week?
Brendan.
Oh, for the love of God.
It's Wednesday.
This is all Brendan's fault, by the way, Neil.
What do you do?
He'll be fine.
2 p.m., baby.
Oh, that's
Hertz tomorrow, guys, and then Rivian on Wednesday. Let's see how we ended. Positive, for the most part. The NASDAQ did slip into the red there at the end of the day, but I mean, for the amount of action there was, this board does not tell the story at all. No. Pretty quiet across equities. We mentioned crypto is having a nice day. 8% and 6% all-time highs for Ethereum.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of crypto, that's right. I mean, you had to be trading the right names today. Otherwise, you were sitting there watching paint dry. Even some of the infrastructure names, they gapped up and then sort of drifted back to the downside, and you had to find these movers.
Yep, still waiting. I don't see any big movers coming out right now. Smile Direct, I guess, just came out maybe with might be a miss there for Smile Direct. Closes 525 down to 470. I don't see anything else. AMC wound up going up to 45 in change as well, but that's just not doing much. So right now, Smile Direct looks like the only name that I can see that has reported so far. But you'll be back. Look, we could just sit here all day. I mean, now, Brendan, what are you going to suggest we go to 430 now?
It was 13. Hey. It was 13
Don't
cents a
encourage him.
share loss for Smile Direct, guys.
Don't encourage him.
So we'll see.
He will say.
We all smiling to the downside if you have puts, but we'll wait to see Smile Direct. These stocks could easily come back, guys. So let's let's wait on that one. For everybody, look, we do have the trade of the day coming up. It was not Tesla. It was
Lucid.
Lucid. So we'll see some Lucid trading coming up.
Again.
Guys, thank you so much. Share, like, hit the subscribe. Tell everybody that we're back we're actually on all day now, man. 8:30 to 4 o'clock. Find Trader TV Live on YouTube, and you will be happy. So for everybody, thank you to Miss V. Thank you to my man Pratt over there as well. There they are. Thank you, guys. And thank you to Rob and Lucas on the ones and twos again, making magic happen over there. Means a lot to us. And of course, Brendan never stops working, including all hours of the day. So thank you to Brendan as well. And we're happy to be going live all day. And I just joking around with Brendan, of course. But for everybody, be well. Enjoy this earnings palooza. Check us tomorrow at 8:30. Good luck.
Go
See ya.
Bears.
Go Bears.
Come on, Bears.
Go Najee Harris.